Take two. Here we go.
Here we
Here we
go.
go. Boom. We should be up and running now.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Luke.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
All right, here we go. Take two. I think
Yeah.
this is working now. I feel comfortable about
Yeah,
this.
it's a good thing that you caught that like in the first 5 minutes.
Well, you know what? It's our reader, a guy named Matt Riot. Was that his name? Matt Riot or something? I think he was listening, and he sent a message. It's not working.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, man.
You're a
Matt.
lifesaver.
And it looks like Candy Bolton is listening.
Candy Bolton.
Unless, I don't know. I think so.
How is Shanghai, Candy Bolton?
I don't know. Well, there'll be no reply now that you start talking to somebody. But looks like our audio should be going.
Well,
Yeah, we're looking good. So, okay.
There's just a lag, you know.
No, I think it's working. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But so we were just starting to talk about, and we'll start over, that last week we wanted to talk about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And we forgot. Because I think it was in the beginning of the podcast, you say, we'll get back to that. And then we never did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
So
Game of Thrones second episode came through just on Sunday, and a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
I liked it too. I felt like it was a calm before the storm kind of episode. Like, they really built up the calm. It's like 2 full episodes of calm.
Very calming. Yeah,
and then then an undead shitstorm.
Yeah.
But
I did liken it to like an indie film would do, because indie films are often low budget, and this one kind of like stayed in one place. You didn't have like special effects. It was just like it's all about the characters talking. There was no like fighting. No, it was all sort of like just going through one building. And just here's all the things happening under one roof.
Right.
And it was kind of, in that way, it felt like a kind of a low budget movie, like an indie film,
But that's a crazy set they created.
Oh, of course, massive too, because I saw the making of that shit.
Yeah, I saw that
big.
too, and I was very impressed by the size. Like, they basically almost created like a huge chunk of Winterfell to, have people interacting it. But
very cool.
I'm looking forward. Earlier this evening we were kind of talking about who we think is going to die.
Yeah, and that's a tough one.
It's hard to predict.
I hope no one dies, but people are going to die.
People are going to die.
Yeah, I think people are going to die.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, again, it's one of those shows that like you just can't predict, and I don't even want to try. But like I was about to say, like during take one was that the one thing I really like that people are doing are these crazy like memes that are doing people are doing, like like I remember seeing a video where it was like that last shot from the episode 1 with Bran and what you call it,
that was the best.
Yeah, and they would like drop the the sunglasses on the 8-bit sunglasses on him and stuff like that, and I'm just like, that's cool, that's funny.
Oh man,
so
he's weird.
He is weird.
Yeah.
He is weird. And a lot of people like to think that he is like the Night King. Or
I've been
like
hearing that.
But I don't think that the writers could have ever predicted it, just because, like, you've seen what he looked like when he was like 10 years old when he first started the show.
Yeah.
And how he aged.
Yeah.
And like nobody could have predicted that like his face was going to become very narrow.
It's like Harry Potter face or something. It's like the little kid becomes an adult, and the face is not the same.
At least he didn't get Leonardo DiCaprio face.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like all pudgy and stuff like that.
That's weird.
Like my sister used to think like, she would look at me and I was all strung out on opiates and stuff like that, and because you got. Like, I look at Leonardo DiCaprio and I just think of you, Luke. You got that same bloated fucking, strung out face.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, I mean, like, and at the time, I was pretty thin, because I was like, strung out, but like, still like.
Wait, are we gonna go back and talk about this again?
And we don't have
just
to
like
go
episode
there.
7.
No, I'm just talking about like, how people. Like, I'm just talking about bloat.
Yeah, people.
Human bloat, and like, he didn't bloat. Bran, the actor who plays Bran, did not bloat.
Yeah.
He like, it's like his entire face went down to a point. Like freaking anime, like aspiring Korean girls would like kill to have like that kind of narrow chin face, So there's apparently a trick that like some girls in Asia do where they tape their faces.
Oh,
You know, I was trying to like think. I was thinking about it because I was talking to some friends about it, and we were looking at like some online pictures of like Asian girls taping their faces, and I'm like, you can't like take a taped up face into public.
So there's a lot of people, I guess, in Asia that always think too that a small face is better than a big face.
Oh,
You
yeah.
notice that,
Oh,
or have
yeah.
you? I didn't.
They
you know,
hate Asia hates me.
so they don't like big faces.
Yeah, I know.
So they would rather have you having this tiny little head on a big body. I don't get it.
no,
What about whatever happened to proportion? Like, isn't proportion better?
I think it's partially has something to do with anime.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like those weird anime proportions where it's kind of like a lollipop fucking head, you
Right.
know, and a super skinny neck.
But I
you
just
know.
see like people say things, like for example, they will say, "Oh yeah, you have a great small face," you know, and then part of them doing a peace sign up front, like forward, is that to make their hand look big and their face look smaller, right?
Really?
So therefore, like they do a peace sign and putting their hands closer to the camera. Therefore, yeah, it makes them look smaller.
It's because
yeah.
that
And
there's so
so
many
the face being smaller is like a good thing, but it's weird.
I think that's because there's also, you know, on the opposite end of the small face, you know, like there is like a lot of Asian people who have, you know, wider faces. I've
Right.
got a wider face, so
Well, I
it's
think,
like, you know,
yeah, that's just how it is, right? But it's just weird. I'm like, oh, so where did that standard come from? Is that Western, like America? I've never heard of someone saying, "Oh yeah, Queen Latifah, your face is small,"
no,
because
well,
it's not true, right?
It's not true.
I know, but I'm saying is like, when is that a compliment? You know,
I've never. Well, I've obviously
I've never
never
heard
have
it.
gotten the small face compliment before. But
I've
the
never
thing-
heard it until it's an Asian thing. It's weird.
It makes, you know what, like Asian it's like, okay, you know, like my sister, right? My sister was or is an actor, and I think she and I both kind of realized early on that like there is like, okay, let me not use my sister as an example. Let me use Lucy Liu, frickin' that one woman from, you know, the that's kind of has a Hulu or Amazon Prime show right now. That one Asian actress, she was in that wine.
Amazon Prime show.
Or is it a Hulu one? I don't remember. She's
Okay. I don't know.
Sandra Oh.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah, there's a show. She's on
Yeah,
a show.
yeah.
So does she have a small face?
Or that chick that was on the frickin' Scott Pilgrim movie. Though none of those women would have ever worked in Asia.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think
Ever.
we have a different standard here, definitely in America with
Right.
faces and stuff.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
and you know, they don't, you know, talent be damned in
Yeah.
Asia.
Is it changing though? Because here you go with Coachella and what is it? The Korean band that played
Blackpink.
Yeah. You know, and that's like an example of probably small faces, is my guess.
Oh, those girls are frickin'
Right? They're genetically modified, but I mean, it's all small face girls with long legs.
Well, they're
right?
also frickin' like,
Yeah.
I don't like, you know, if you ever watch any of their videos and the way they
I
dance,
haven't.
no, the way they dance, it's just kind of like nothing on them like moves out like without, you know, everything moves on command. Like no arm fat,
Right.
nor boobs bouncing,
Right.
no like frickin' like cheek wobble,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like those are some incredibly tight human beings.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
and
professionals.
and like so they must be like on crazy diets and extreme exercise regimens.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
But, you know, that's an example. I think is that starting to infiltrate like the small face thing because, you know.
it's a chin thing.
It's a chin thing.
I think it's a chin thing.
All right.
It's a chin and cheek thing. You know, so like, you know, the taping thing, like I think they tape the underparts like right here to kind of get a really pointy small
it's so
chin.
weird.
Oh, and it looks weird. My friend was showing me these photos, and I'm like,
So wait, do weeaboos do this too? Do you weeaboos at home who are listening to
oh,
us?
or weebs. I don't
Weebs,
know.
Are you doing this too? Because I'm wondering if they're doing this in America now.
No, I don't
Copying
think it.
Asia it hasn't come yet.
I don't think.
Like, do they have special face tape? Like special tape for
I
the
think.
face?
Well, okay. Here's
Because I want to make $1 off of that, man. I'm gonna import
make
the face
some
tape.
face tape. Well, I
Yeah.
think that the tape is only used for photo portraits. I
Right.
don't think it's anything
Oh,
that
okay.
you could
So
like
you can't
walk around
because that
with it.
shit might fall out.
Right.
Okay.
It's all for the great,
Right.
catfishing of Asia.
Wow. Yeah. Yep. They definitely don't celebrate mediocrity, so they're just going all out to make things look as good as they can when it's not.
I don't know, man.
It's bad.
I don't know.
So okay, wait. How is
It's-
this? We just strayed from Game of Thrones to
We did.
to a very Asian American or Asian topic.
Right.
But yeah, man, people are gonna die,
People are going to die.
and who's gonna die in your book? Like, who do you
The
think?
Hound is going to die.
We're just talking about the next episode,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
The Hound is gonna die.
The Hound is going to die.
Brienne, the tall
Brienne
blonde
is
woman,
gonna die.
She's gonna die.
Yeah.
The next episode.
I've got my money on the blacksmith.
Oh, Gendry.
Gendry.
Gendry's gonna die.
Gendry's going to die.
Okay, but then
That's more than too many. That's way too many people to die in one
you
episode.
think 3?
but-
Well,
Yeah.
Gendry's not a giant character though. I
No,
feel like he's
no,
sort
I
of like
don't-
the
I-
B-level character, but the
Yeah.
Hound dying would suck.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the Hound.
I kind of like him too, but
Yeah.
he just seems like he doesn't care. So I feel like he won't die because he doesn't care. He seems like his level of caring is not as high as it needs to be to die.
Right.
Whereas, like, now Brienne became a knight, so now she cares and she's gonna die.
She's going to die. Yeah. All that build up, all
Yeah.
that knighting.
And the Grey Worm guy,
Grey
is he
Worm
gonna
is
die this
totally
next
gonna
episode?
die.
Like, yeah. He's
I don't
gonna
know.
die.
Look, I don't know. I imagine.
Well, I mean,
that,
he's kind of like now he's found his love thing, right? He's
Right.
figured it out. He's even made no penis work. So,
Did he?
well, he does something.
I just thought it was like an expression of love. I don't know whether or not there was any sexual
Oh,
satisfaction in there.
oh no, there was an episode where they got it on.
Yeah,
somehow.
I thought
Somehow.
I saw, but I
He just-
didn't.
Maybe he had a strap on. He just puts on. I don't know.
I didn't. I just maybe he was just eating her out.
Yeah, he did, but maybe he had a strap on. They're not going to show that.
Yeah, they're
you
not
know?
going to
Anyway, yeah, it'd be Gendry made it. Shit.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, so
it's made of dragon glass.
yeah. So okay, wait. Then I mean, is the Night King gonna die this next episode? Or?
No.
No, right? It's
No,
only the
I-
third one.
Yeah,
He's not gonna die, right? In this next one.
Like, okay, is it a 6 or a 7 episode show?
I think it's 6.
6.
Yeah.
So basically, they have 2 episodes in Winterfell, 2 episodes of fighting the Night King, and then 2 episodes of
Oh, so it's 2 episodes fighting this Night King.
maybe
Maybe, right? Well, because
Yeah.
like
because
I feel like you can't just make him die in this third episode.
the
right?
trailer only showed like a half a second of people fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more a bunch of people looking over walls.
And then the weirdest thing is like why in that trailer Brienne wasn't wearing a helmet.
right?
Like just to show that she's blonde. I was just like, where's the
It's
helmet?
just to make her stand out.
Yeah, where's the helmet?
I
You know?
know.
It's
I mean,
weird.
maybe she just doesn't like. You've never seen her wear a helmet.
I guess not. Maybe I feel like I've seen her take off a helmet once, but I don't know.
She took off a helmet in her introduction.
Yeah.
She was wearing a helmet, like when she was, because they were dueling, and like the gay guy like fights the fights her and loses, and then
Yeah.
she takes off her helmet
Oh.
and, like for the great reveal.
Okay, what about Jamie Lannister? Is he gonna die? I mean, he just rode his ass all the way there. Is he gonna die the next day, type of thing? You know what I'm saying? He went all the way there, and he's gonna die.
Nah,
No.
nah.
Okay. So, Superfly CLB says anyone with sympathetic music in the first 2 episodes is dead. And Graham, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, like, it would be really interesting if a lot of these main characters. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people dying, but I mean, like, what are the chances of like these main characters dying? Like, Grey Worm will probably survive.
You think?
But I don't know. He did have that, like, he was talking to the girl.
Yeah. His little lady friend.
Lady friend.
Yeah.
And like talking about like
His
let's leave.
light-skinned lady friend.
Yeah, let's leave
It's
all
a
this.
alliteration.
Like,
Yeah.
after all this, let's leave this. And
Yeah, and it's like, do people
our
get to
thing.
do that? No, they get to
No,
die.
they get to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody with hopes and dreams dies.
So wait,
and-
are these White Walker fools gonna get to that basement, or what's it called? Where all the women and children are hiding.
right?
What's that called? They called it something.
The crypt.
The crypt. Is the crypt gonna get broken? Is that gonna happen? Do you think they're gonna get that far?
No, I don't think they're going to.
So
get
the
that
crypt
far.
is gonna be sealed, and everyone's gonna be fine in the crypt.
I think so.
Wow. Okay.
I think that because the goal is to take out the three-eyed raven,
Right.
aka Bran, aka
Right.
what would we call him earlier at dinner? Who is that one scientist, mathematician?
Stephen Hawking?
The Stephen Hawking of
Stephen Hawking of Winterfell?
of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's the Westeros Stephen Hawking.
Yes, he's because he's in a wheelchair and he doesn't speak like a human being.
Yeah,
Well,
he's no longer
because he's no longer a human being. Yeah.
He's really not.
So he's they're all after him.
Right.
Now this kind of.
But still, you have a shit ton of these White Walkers. Aren't they going to find the crypt? Like someone's going to go to the crypt.
They're all commanded by the Night King.
So
and his other next second tier level of night.
All these dudes, not one of them is going to go to the crypt. There's chicks there. Let's turn them all. No? They're going to do it.
Maybe. I mean, they'll some of them, someone's probably going to, there's going to be probably knocking on that.
How many times has the word crypt get mentioned in the last episode?
Enough times for you to forget what it's called.
Yeah, enough, but enough where I think that there's got to be a reason why they have to keep bringing up the crypt over and over and over and over and over and over. Something's got to happen down there, Right?
Yeah, I
Is
don't
Peter
know.
Dinklage just going to just have an orgy in the crypt? He's going to talk
Peter
everyone
Dinklage is the big
the small dude.
Small dude?
The little man.
Yeah. He's on the walls.
No, he's going to be in the crypt.
Oh yeah,
right?
he is going to be in the crypt.
He's going to be in the crypt. So is he going to use his language to get everyone in the mood and say, "This is your last moment on Earth. I have the last penis here."
Yeah, I mean, he really does need to die with
What's
what was
he
it?
keeps- he said it.
A belly full of wine and a mouth around his fucking cock. That would be fucking amazing.
There you go.
You know,
My goodness.
that's the way it should
Game
go.
of Thrones is just. This is going to be the X-rated version.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the way he should go.
Yeah, there's going to be a X-rated film called Bang Crypt or something. Like
Game of Bones. Hey, I'll talk to my friend Leroy Myers to.
I was kind of
about-
thinking like Bang Bus or whatever that's called, the car that drives around.
Oh.
Yeah, just Bang Crypt or something. It's horrible.
The
Horrible. Anyway,
the
so
crypto bone. I don't
crypto
know. Anyways, so yeah, I'm looking forward to episode 3. I mean, we
absolutely.
discussed. We were talking about doing I was suggesting that we do a separate episode of
Oh
Game
my
of
God.
Thrones, but
enough.
I don't know. There's plenty of other people out there who have much more interesting things. I didn't
There's
rewatch
people
the
that
episode.
people that study it, almost
Yeah.
that's amazing.
How many times did you watch those episodes?
Just once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's all.
I don't need to watch it over and over and over again to dissect, whatever. And I could watch another guy's video dissecting it for me if I really want to watch
if
it.
you want to get into it. Yeah.
That's fucking, I mean, it's.
Do you like do you watch after the show? There's that. Is it the producer who talks?
Well, I watch it on Hulu.
I know, but after. Oh wait. So after on Hulu, does it have that little 2 minutes of director and the producer or whatever?
Yeah, they're kind of talking about scenes.
and they're talking about the most obvious shit on the planet, right?
Right.
It's like, dude, we just watched this. You don't need to tell us what we just saw. Tell us something different.
Yeah, but
it's
if
always
you're-
it's like in this one, Sansa kind of makes up with Daenerys, but I'm like, dude, we just saw that.
Right.
In this episode, it's like,
I don't mind it. Sometimes, I miss things.
yeah, but they could just. I'd rather watch one of these YouTube guys do the same thing, but better than those guys.
But but when you're watching YouTube, you're watching an opinion.
I'd rather watch the opinion.
He's stating fact.
I know, but we just watch the facts. It's so boring. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but it's only 2 fucking minutes, man.
It's too much. 2 minutes too much. Here, Gendry gets some sex. It's like, we know. I saw.
I know.
We actually edited out the frontal boob shot, but you did see some side.
Oh, she had that shit taped up.
They didn't say that, but it's like so obvious. Of course, you'd say it. That's what they would say.
She had that shit taped up.
I'm sure.
No, I mean
it's professional. It's $1 billion of industry right there.
Yeah, fucking boob tape.
Yeah.
It's right up there with face tape. Anyways,
Yeah.
So how was your show this weekend? You had an opening?
Well, we had an opening. It's called The Reality of Illusions. And we also had the small show at GR. I call it the small show, but another show at Giant Robot Store.
Mm-hmm.
Cats
The cats
versus
and dogs. I
Cats
know.
versus dogs.
Yeah, with cats on one side, dogs on the other.
Face to face.
I really wanted the dogs to win, but I kind of feel like the cat
cats won.
artists
The
kind
cats
of
won.
like the cat people next level their shit, you know.
Yeah, but I guess depends where. In Japan, dogs win. I think.
Oh well, I mean, in my world, dogs win.
Yeah. But I think in Japan, dogs win in general. But I think here, maybe cats win.
Right.
At
Well,
least
I
in
mean,
art, I'm
we
not
talked
sure.
about this
Yeah.
before. How like dog art people are very specific about the kind of, dog that it is, the breed. Meanwhile, cat people are just kind of open to all cats, right, or something
Yeah,
like.
maybe. I guess you're right. Because a cat is a cat, sort of, versus dogs
A
with
corgi
yeah.
is a corgi,
Yeah,
and
you're kind of right.
a Dane is a
'cause
Dane.
Cats are almost the same shape, roughly.
right, unless you have a Scottish fold.
Yeah, there's some different ones, but mostly kind of similar, and then it's just by color.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's no purple cats or anything like that, so it's a standard amount of color.
But you have a purple cat in your show.
Yeah, well, we have all kinds of
You
shit.
got a big puffy kind of purple thing.
That is pretty rad.
Yeah, that thing definitely caught my eye.
Yeah.
And
So
there was a lot of people at
Yeah.
GR1.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
That's kind of fun, right? It's the idea is to have two different shows and
Mm-hmm.
put them on the same night. It's our own mini art walk kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And I don't know, just trying to, activate and have a good time with it, right?
Yeah,
the idea
absolutely.
is for me to have a good time. So if I have a good time, I hope everyone else is.
Yeah,
If I'm not having a good time, then how can I expect anyone else to have a good time? you know?
absolutely.
I kind of see it that way. So I want to make it where I'm doing something that's fun and that fun for everybody. And if it is, then I'm hoping that people enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of how I do it, or what I hope for anyway.
So who were the artists that showed in Gallery 2 in GR2?
Gallery 2? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
GR2. So the guy who does the miniatures, Sergio. Oh man,
I know he's named Sergio.
Waregui. Wait, Waregui. Waregui.
Those are awesome.
Tiffany Liu.
Yep,
Jen-
Tiffany Liu is
Jen-
amazing.
yeah.
She's she's
Great
she's
paintings.
great.
And Jen Tong from New York, and she didn't come out. And then Albert Reyes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yeah.
He did a full-on installation.
So who asked me? It was Yosuke saying, "Hey, why are these artists?" And I sat there and I was like, I don't know. And then I went, "Oh wait, 2 Chinese women, 2 Latino men."
Yeah. Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
never even really made that connection before.
I kind of didn't think about it till like I was asked. I was like, "Why? I don't know exactly," but because I felt like it. But yeah, ultimately that's what it became. But I was thinking more in terms of aesthetic. Like you have a person like Albert whose stuff looks kind of like overwhelming and crazy and weird.
Yeah.
And then you have the guy who does miniatures, and that's kind of like same. It's a little bit intense but smaller. And then you have kind of pretty Tiffany Liu's paintings, and then you have Jen Tong's paintings are kind of like maybe
a little,
in some
like,
ways echo each
lighter.
other. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a little more
Yeah.
some.
I was thinking more in terms of aesthetic, but then it turned out to be Asian versus Latino. We're doing, we have dogs versus cats, so we have Asians versus Latino.
I didn't even make that connection.
I didn't either until I just right then I was like, I guess you could say it's a versus show too.
Yeah, because like it's
not
because
meant to be.
again like you have like the Albert and Sergio both kind of have this street aesthetic about
Yeah,
them.
that's kind of the idea, right? It was the street versus the that was what I was thinking, but
The-
then
and-
it became ethnicity just now.
Yeah, I was talking to Tiffany at the opening, and apparently like she had these paintings. Like she's kind of I think more known for this kind of storybook style illustration,
Children's
work.
book style
Yeah.
almost, right? But
But
with a
then
lot of
she
detail.
had these pieces that were like these weird kind of blobbish, like they
I like
look
those.
like and,
ghosts or something.
right. And she was
Yeah.
explaining to me that like she was she suffers from epilepsy,
Mm-hmm.
and like these paintings kind of illustrate the feeling
Oh, wow.
of that. And I was
Yeah,
very
she mentioned that actually to me once too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool. Very cool, And then I didn't get a chance to talk to Jen Tong because she wasn't here.
Yeah, she's in New York.
Bitch.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to be funny. Sorry, Jen, if you're listening. I doubt you are, but if you are, I apologize. But yeah, it was a fun show to look at.
Yeah. Awesome.
Especially with Albert Reyes going all the way to the freaking ceiling.
Yeah. Art to the ceiling, man.
Art to the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
ceiling.
yeah.
You know,
Like he asked what should I bring, and I said bring it. That's all I said. I think just bring it, and he was like, okay, like in a text message, okay, you know, and I was like, he knows what that means. And that's kind of awesome, you know, because what if it's a show where a different gallery goes, oh yeah, just bring 10 pieces, 10, right?
Right.
And you put 10 pieces. Well, I said bring it, and so he was like, okay. So he brought some bigger pieces, but then he brought 120 drawings,
right.
and put them all like up on the wall, and that's what he
So
that's what I told him to
It's gonna be
do.
really tough to mark what like what sold and what
Yeah,
hadn't.
it's a little tough, but we have a little map on the wall. That's the best we can do.
Ah.
Yeah, because everything's his art is like touching. They're butting up against each other, and
Yeah.
you can't number them. They're too high up.
No.
Yeah,
No.
but it's all good.
No, it's
fun.
fun. It's
Yeah,
fun. You
yeah.
know, he I wonder where he got those covers from.
Oh, the book covers?
Yeah.
I have no idea, but yeah, he sure destroys a lot of. I think they're textbooks too.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're mostly textbooks because
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Or he just grabbed them from the the book exchange.
Oh, I
from,
know, huh? But he's destroyed a lot of those books. So.
Giant Robot, by the way, has a book exchange.
The exchange part is not really working, but the books going out and people taking books is happening. But it's the coolest thing is a lot of people ask. They said, "Hey, do I need to bring a book?" And I'm like, you can bring it another day. You don't have to bring it today.
Right.
So I see people just taking books, and I don't know if they're going to come back. It doesn't matter to me. Like they don't have to, but there are not a lot of books in there right now.
Right.
Yeah, but the other day I saw a homeless guy take a book, and I was like, "Cool,
Oh,
take
cool.
it." He even asked me, and I was like, "No, just take it. It's all good. You don't have to bring it back." Like
Nice.
you could bring that book back, or you could bring a different book back, or not at all. I told him you don't have to either.
Right.
It's just if you got time,
Cool.
So yeah.
Do you ever find anything like good in there, or have people actually exchanged
A little
books?
bit. Oh yeah. One person brought a bunch of books, and it was funny because I knew the guy. His name is Alex. Alex is married, and Alex brought one book that was something like it had something to do with like spouses and visas, getting visas in America because his wife is, I think, Taiwanese. And
Okay.
he's Taiwanese too, but he's American,
Right.
and his wife is from Taiwan, I believe. And he had like a spouses and visas book, like it looks like a handbook of how in the fuck to get a visa for your spouse
Wow.
from Asia or something.
I mean, considering how many,
and that book's gone
know,
now. Someone took it.
Of course,
Yeah.
dude. That's important information.
But when he brought that book, I looked at him. I was like, "Dude, that's funny." But yeah, no, it's all good, man. I'm glad people bring some books. So.
yeah,
man.
that's fucking no, that's good.
Yeah,
Like,
but thanks for coming to the opening. You made it again. You usually make it to a lot of our
I
openings.
always try to make it.
Yeah.
I want to support. You
Yeah.
know, it's,
Support.
support. And there was 2 shows. And there's usually good eating over there. Speaking of
Oh,
shows,
good eating.
this August 24th,
August 24th.
Yep, I am. Well, actually, I should say Eric, myself, and mutual friend Sarah Jo Marks are curating a show. It's a food themed show,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to open it up to like whatchamacallit? What's the word? Open it up
To douchebags?
to
No, I'm just kidding.
to other artists,
Yeah.
maybe artists that I don't know, to submit their work. Yeah, they don't have to submit the work they want to show. They just submit their work in general to my email at lucaschukas. That's LUCASCHUCAS @gmail.com, and with the headline "Food Show," and so I can take a look, and if I like what you got going on, then I will personally extend an invitation for you to
Awesome.
participate.
Wow,
And,
that's a big open call right here.
oh, I mean, like, I
Boom.
don't know how many people listen to this show, but
Tons.
like, I think that, like, I think I want it to be a really fun show with a lot of like new,
Lots of art.
and
Yeah.
so like frickin' A, like Sawtelle's like a foodie paradise.
You're
So,
invited.
you're invited
yeah.
to
try.
to try.
Yeah. So
You know.
a question comes in, and they said, "I thought I saw a giant robot stall at WonderCon this year. Were you there?" Yes.
Yeah.
And I just signed up for 2020.
nice. And
Yeah.
so it does well for you.
I wouldn't say well. It's okay, but I'm actually downgrading. So that can tell you something. I'm downgrading from a corner booth to an inline booth.
Yeah.
So just it's good. It's just not that good.
Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, you also have like those banners and flags that you fly high up that like announces like, hey,
I
giant
don't know.
robot right here.
Yeah, all 20 people go, oh, giant robot. Most don't know anything about giant robot. In my opinion, most just stop through and they're just randomly checking out every booth, and
Yeah.
they stop by. So that's kind of what I think it is. At least that's probably 95% of the people.
Well, I
maybe
mean-
5% know giant robot or less,
Yeah.
and the rest don't. And it's like 90 something percent. It's big. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people.
There, I mean, that's the thing. Like, like time kind of just, I guess, erases memories to a certain degree, or it's just, it kind of it's catering to a younger crowd group, people that may not even be familiar with, the magazine, and stuff like that.
I mean, I bring some people actually. Yeah, there are people that buy the magazine there, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another person asks a while ago. Matthew Riot again asked ever thought of doing a methadone prisoner bear.
Yeah, I've thought about it. But the thing for me is that I used methadone to get myself off of the street drugs. So and I was able to wean myself essentially off of it. So I don't really kind of look at it, methadone, as a substance that I kind of perceive as something that imprisoned me.
Wow, that's
you
a
know.
deep response.
It was the drug that was able to help me separate myself from that lifestyle.
Right.
So
Okay.
I mean, obviously there are times when I will just play with the idea, like by associating, like, for instance, I did a marijuana one where basically because
Kush.
of the
I
Kush
have that.
ones, yeah.
I have it.
You got it because I think you remember.
I got a box. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Evidently, it just sat there because I didn't write back and give my address. So I did get the.
That's
perks.
the fucking worst part about fucking Kickstarter.
I thought. Why didn't they just take my address when I signed up for the
Right.
thing?
Right.
I guess.
I mean,
I
like,
guess you could always move in the time because it takes some time.
Yeah,
and then that would create a bigger problem because you're mailing a package and the person moved and things get lost. That's a lot of money to lose. But
I have lost an entire fucking suitcase that I fucking did a Kickstarter thing on.
did you get this? There was a suitcase. Wait, which one did you get?
It was this one suitcase. It was like a book bag suitcase kind of thing.
Did it have did it have a power charger for your phone and stuff?
It might have. No, I don't think this one
Okay,
did. No.
okay.
But like I realized 6 months after they shipped everything out that I never got mine, and I opened it up and I tried messaging them, no reply. Tried messaging them, no reply. Messaging them, no reply. And so I was just like, fuck. They got fucking $150 from me, and I got nothing.
Wow.
Fuck them.
That sucks.
Fuck them. And
Yeah.
fuck Kickstarter. Fuck, with this bullshit fucking, like, you know what? If I change fucking addresses, then I should contact them ahead of time. You don't have to fucking make me fill out a fucking address form again. It's bullshit. And I am not a fan of that.
Right.
Like, so.
There you go. Kickstarter. Wait, what about GoFundMe? Is that better?
I-
I'm sure it's the same thing, right?
I think the GoFundMe things just give them fucking money without any rewards.
Oh, I think you could put rewards on GoFundMe.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, you give it to people who are like struggling, this person is like,
but GoFundMe is almost like a Kickstarter, is it not? Patreon's the one where it's like a monthly.
yeah, but
money.
Patreon, you still get something back because it's kind of like, you give them rewards. Like,
Yeah.
one of these days we'll have a fucking
A
robot
Patreon?
on the
We're gonna have a Patreon,
But
yeah.
like, that's when we start like, start leveling up.
I mean, because like shit, who's gonna pay for the coffee that we need to talk? man?
right.
I mean, it'd be nice to have a Patreon for a
little cup of
yeah,
coffee.
Where's the cupcake?
Yeah, a little snack,
nothing.
a little something.
Got
something,
nothing.
No.
No.
And all the gas that I fucking spend
God
driving.
damn, you should get
know?
that gas back. So absolutely.
But we're only 9 episodes in. We're gotta we're still beta testing.
Yeah,
fucking Robot
yeah,
and the Bear.
yeah.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
going great. I'm enjoying it. Cheers.
Cheers.
But
Yeah.
so I think actually earlier before the podcast we had learned that you were telling me that Mr. Murakami Takeshi.
Takashi Murakami is,
You know.
I guess, in Blum and Poe, his longtime gallerist here in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
parted ways. But I think Blum and Poe, I don't know. I don't know if they opened one in New York. I thought they were or did.
Right.
A Blum and Poe office also in Japan. And I think a lot of that was maybe to work with Murakami and or Yoshitomo Nara. I believe was kind of like one of the main
Right.
reasons why. Although I know they're working with other Japanese artists, I think that was one of the main reasons why. But yeah, an article came out today basically saying that they have parted ways.
I kind of figured that with the
after 25
Gagosian
years.
gallery.
Yeah, I guess he's done shows with other galleries, including Perrotin, right? Emmanuel Perrotin Gallery. But Blum and Poe was kind of the mainstay here in L.A. And yeah, you're right. There was a show at Gagosian, and but yeah, evidently it just came out today that they have split up after 25 years for different reasons, I guess. But part of it's maybe just Murakami wanting to move on, and of course, the gallery's comments will say stuff like, "Yeah, mutually we wanted that," but I can't. I mean, do you think it's mutual?
No.
Because the gallery probably without Murakami, I guess it can survive, but I'm sure Murakami brought in a lot of money.
Right. Of
Like
course.
like a heavy amount of money.
I met
he's
a-
the most famous. He's the most famous artist that they've worked with. Period.
Right.
So-
Oh, I just met a guy last week who bought one of he bought the naked Murakami. It was one of the pieces that he had on display at his last Blum and Poe show, where it was him naked laying down. I think it was chrome kind of a finish.
Oh.
You might, I don't know whether or not you remember that one, but like that
Wait, there's a naked man.
it was a naked Murakami.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it was at the Blum and Poe show.
Wow, I don't remember it, but I went to that, but I don't remember a naked man.
Yeah, it was a sculpture. It was a sitting, I think,
Huh.
in in one of the rooms.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like that was definitely Blum and Poe that was one of Blum and Poe's fucking biggest artists for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if they work with Yoshitomo Nara anymore. I feel like he hasn't done a show with Blum and Poe in a very long time.
Well, the last
I mean, he had
show-
he had an epic show last time, but
Yeah.
I just don't know if he has worked, because I think Yoshitomo Nara's actually announced that he's working with Kaikai Kiki, Murakami's
Oh, really?
whole thing as his gallerist.
Oh,
So that's what I read that actually. I think that came out in January.
interesting.
So I'm wondering if he too has left Blum and Poe, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting.
But that's kind of I guess in mini art world, that's kind of a big deal.
yeah.
Just because it's
Well-
it's like, wow, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's acrimony, like fighting of some sort, or some. I mean, but obviously somebody's unhappy with something, because if things are rocking and rolling, why do you have to do that for? But
Well, I think the thing is that like, well, I mean,
it's money. I
here-
think it talks about money in
Well,
the article. It mentions money.
it's also
being a
like
part of it.
even like within the upper echelons, there's tiers.
Sure.
And like when as a gallerist or as an artist, when you walk around, when you like look at art galleries and you look at places that'll show you and stuff, you kind of quickly realize like there's like beginning level tiered galleries, like mid-career tiers, like higher level tiers. And I'm sure because I don't know anything about that world, there's tiers within those worlds
I'm sure
as well.
there are. Like maybe Gagosian's a higher level.
Well,
than
Gagosian
Blum
has
and Poe, right?
galleries in L.A.,
think
New
there's
York.
nine of them or
yeah,
something,
right.
yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense to fucking show with a Gagosian over a
Sure.
Blum and Poe, who only has a Los Angeles space.
And who knows? Because Murakami now represents artists. Maybe Gagosian's open to Murakami's artists, and Blum and Poe was not. Like Murakami wanting to place other artists that he works with in bigger galleries, right?
Sure.
Maybe Gagosian's open to it, and maybe Blum and Poe's like, nope, we only want you and so, but not your whole stable of artists.
Right,
That's
yeah.
indeed possible, and
That, yeah.
therefore maybe maybe that's part of it. It's sort of like show me, but you also got to show all these other guys.
Maybe.
Maybe he's kind of doing that. And maybe he
Yeah,
earns and he earns a cut of that money too. I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, there's always, I mean, that's kind of how it works, right? If you are, if you have certain artists in your stable, you make a cut from your stable.
Yeah, but
know.
and I'm sure that's what he wants, is to get these artists in the best possible position to make a lot of money too. And maybe Gagosian's up for that game, and Maybe Bum Poe doesn't, because Gagosian has 9 locations or something. That's in 9 different places they could put an artist. Bum Poe in LA at least only has 1, so
Right.
maybe it just doesn't work that way.
Well, also, I mean, like Gagosian also like featured Murakami when he showed with did a collaboration with that one guy.
Yeah, maybe that's something that maybe Bum Poe doesn't want that. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe
I think
certain.
that was mentioned in the article too. That he's starting to do all these collaborations and putting out a lot of product, basically art, meaning art. He's putting out a lot of art, and maybe that's just a different direction also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
but that direction is about making cash probably too. There's money and fame and getting his brand out there bigger, all those kind of things, and maybe just Bum Poe's not up for that ride exactly, and.
Right. Well, I mean, this goes to show. I mean, like, weren't you telling me that
I'm
like
up for it.
he
I'm up for it, man. No, I'm just
he
kidding.
made like 30. He made 30 million.
Something like that. That's what the
like
article said. Yeah, but that was in worldwide like auction sales or something.
in auction sales.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who knows what he actually made like through his entire Kai Kai Kiki fucking business.
I'm sure a lot.
I mean, like considering how many artists he works with and represents.
And maybe like whatever commercials shit he does. Maybe there's some kind of
right. Yeah. No. He just did a fucking music video for what's her name?
Billie Eilish. Or
Billie
whatever.
Eilish. Yeah. I didn't watch it. Did you?
Yeah. I just saw the trailer for it. I never saw the video. But I don't know if he got paid super crazy, but either way, he can do another video that's going to pay him super crazy eventually, right? If it's not right now, maybe it's going to be for the next one.
Right. I mean,
it just keeps him very. I guess kind of relevant. He's making a video for a 17-year-old person. So
is she still 17 yet?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying, it keeps him very relevant and young. Like anyone who's into a 17-year-old's music now knows what Murakami is.
Yeah, that is true. Freaking people are so fucking forgetful these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very, very. It's faster than ever, right? People forget another person really quickly, and that's a fast way to get your name just blasted. Is
right. Yeah,
these kind of collaborations with these kind of socially relevant people, and also maybe a musician making a music video. And we don't even watch videos, but we're talking about it. We didn't even watch the video, and we're talking about it.
I actually like a couple of her songs.
I don't even know the music at all. Yeah, zero. So
I learned about her on NPR or something like that. Yeah, no, NPR, and I liked the kind of some like the melodies or the general sounds of the music, because her brother produces all her music, and then she does the vocals, and she sings in this kind of whispery, kind of smoky, kind of like, I don't know, kind of weird girl sound. It's not like pop music. It's actually, it has a very indie aesthetic.
Wow.
And I'm shocked on how popular it is.
Wow.
Like even some of her videos were just kind of like this. Like her videos have a similar aesthetic to me.
Right.
Like where she has this video where it's like she's drinking. It starts off with her drinking this cup of black liquid, and then all these black liquids just starts pouring out of her eyes and shit. And I'm like, I see what you're doing there.
All right.
I'm down with what I like the cut of your jib, so
awesome.
I haven't seen the Murakami one, but I remember it came up in the in my my homepage for YouTube, and it was like Billie Eilish and freaking Takeshi Murakami.
Yeah. Yeah, but and also in that article it mentioned one person said, and I forgot who it was, maybe it was someone from another gallery, said something like he's sort of like a guy who, I don't know what you say, it's sort of like doesn't really, he's kind of represents himself more than a gallery represents him, type of a thing. So I thought that was interesting too, to hear that he's sort of like a, he's sort of like outside the gallery.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is, I mean,
he's kind of, he's different in that way.
This brings up like, a thing that I had been thinking about, or I was thinking about for a while. And that is this, like, what kind of artist do you want to be?
Right.
Do you want to be an artist who people, like, who shows at prestigious places but nobody who knows? or do you want to be an artist where you make you can make an impact by everybody knowing your name, people being familiar with what your work,
Mm-hmm.
and people reacting to it, enjoying it,
Which people?
and people in general,
Okay.
a wider audience.
Because the widest audience that at least I think that that I know of anyway, the one that I'm kind of within in a way, there's some artists that were part of it, then just left it, right? And now they're kind of showing to a smaller group with more money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
maybe it's their work is selling for more money. Maybe they're making more money, but they're sort of like out of my entire like viewpoint. I don't even see them anymore.
Right.
And there's a lot of artists that have done that, and I'm saying they're probably very successful, maybe, but I have no idea where
You don't.
they went.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they went. Like they kind of disappeared to me, but they're still around. They're still doing shit. I just don't know where. I don't know what sells. I have it's off my radar 100%.
Yeah.
So there is that, and I don't know if that's good or bad. Like maybe that's an excellent. That means maybe they're doing something right. That they are part of a different art world that I don't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, for me personally, like, obviously I'd want both.
Yeah.
I'd want to show
Sure.
up prestigious places, and I'd want to fucking like have a huge,
Well,
have work that reaches a huge audience.
There's a lot of galleries out there by their names of people, and I'm like, I've never heard of that.
Right.
I'm showing at Fred, Schiavone Gallery in New York, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I hear people that say that, and I'm like, never heard of it. I don't know if I ever will again.
Right. Well, even like fucking like,
Yeah. But a lot of people
like
say
contemporary art in general, there is that, freaking, that factor of like, like we were just saying Blum and Poe, right?
Yeah.
Blum and Poe, 11 months out of a year, you don't have a fucking clue who the fuck these artists are. But then maybe someone, well, at least before fucking Murakami left, then a Murakami or Yoshitomo Nara will fucking show, and you're like, oh, okay, well, time to go to fucking Blum and Poe.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
So that's the one. That's sort of like the crossover one, right?
Right.
And then but the rest of the shows, I mean, they probably have multiple shows at a time.
Honor Fraser.
Right.
Right. How many fucking people go to Honor Fraser regularly?
I don't know. Cause shows.
Right.
Once
every couple of years.
Every couple of years there was a cause show, so then people.
And then people will line up, down in La Cienega to fucking go see Cause, but then they'll, never fucking show up there again.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like, I don't think, I mean, like, personally, I've never had that opportunity to really, decide which lane I'd want to fucking be a part of.
Right.
I
don't. Do people decide that exactly, or do they just kind of it just falls into them, or they fall into that?
I think, well,
because I don't know if you make a conscious choice of, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're going with whoever's championing your work the best.
Right.
And if it happens to be a one person, a guy or gal's gallery in Iowa or something, and they're doing the great job for you, but I've never heard of it and never will.
Well,
maybe that's okay for some people, but I don't know.
I just think that, like, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of locations right now in the greater United States that are serious, art meccas. I heard something. I think I was talking to Rolf, a friend of our mutual friend of ours, Rolf, who is friends with a lot of different artists, and he was saying that, like, there's a really interesting community out in, like, Arizona or New Mexico or somewhere like.
Well, is that just like New Mexico? There's artist colony there, right?
Colonies, yeah. And they
Santa Fe, right?
Santa Fe, yeah, and they do crazy, like, art events and stuff like that. But I don't know whether or not the rest of the greater art world is actually looking. I don't even know whether the rest of the greater art world is even really genuinely looking at Los Angeles.
I'm not sure either.
They're probably not.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the at least with in Los Angeles, we do get some legit big names coming, big shows. We have some unique venues, that like from the Broad to That one was a Masonic temple that's by K-Town.
Oh, the Giorgio Armani Foundation. You're talking about that?
I don't know.
I think that's who you're talking about.
I don't know. It's the
Yeah.
one with the Ai Weiwei show.
I think isn't that the Marciano
The
Foundation?
Marciano Foundation, yeah.
That's fucking Guess Jeans, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's the guy who founded Guess Jeans.
Yeah, he's got his building.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking, you know, like that Ai Weiwei show was, I loved it. I thought it was amazing to kind of like, but then the best thing about that space is how informed their staff is. Like you could pull anyone aside who's wearing a fucking, you know, the uniform, and they will explain to you like what's going on with the work, you know.
Cool.
And I thought that was great. You know, because like, you know, a lot of it, like there's some really interesting pieces and there's a lot of garbage. You know, so and like sometimes you need to understand why like this, you know, fucking glass jar of jelly beans is fucking, you know, getting a fucking, you know, a pillar, you know, in this fucking institution.
Sure.
You know, and I'm not kidding about a glass jar of jelly beans. I actually have one.
Wow.
You know, I don't really fucking get it. You know, but like I don't know. I mean, like, but back to this like idea of like
Jumping ship, moving on to galleries. You mean?
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, like I've, you know, throughout my career, I have transitioned from one space to another, to another, to another. You know, when I started, I was showing at these like underground art shows in downtown Los Angeles called Cannibal Flower.
Right.
And it was a one night frickin', you know, event.
Sure.
People paid like $7 to get in.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they had like bands and DJs
okay.
and fucking like crazy performance art and like, you know, and they would have like 90 artists at the time like showing their work, and they would have one featured artist. You know, and you know, once I started showing there, you know, every month I had a show to fucking do. You know, I'd had to contribute like one or two paintings
to Cannibal Flower.
Yeah, to Cannibal Flower, and I was able to, once I found my voice, I was able to document every single piece that I, you know, showed and sold, and then like build up a website and frickin', you know, eventually get the attention of a new gallery that came up.
Right.
And that new gallery was Gallery 1988. They're still around.
Right.
They're still on Melrose, you know, and
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, you haven't?
Believe it or not, never been there.
They hosted some really big shows, like, you know, during like the first, you know, big rise, you know, in 2007, you know, of the.
I don't think I've even heard of it until like 5 years ago or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like some like really pop arty kind of shows. Cool. Like they did like a Crazy for Cult show where it was like, you know, artists, you know, reinterpreting cult movies, and they did the I Am 8-Bit show, which is a video game themed, you know, show, and there was people would line up around the block to fucking attend these shows.
Awesome.
You know, and freaking they did you know, pretty good, you know, for themselves at the time. And then, like, you know, I just eventually moved on to the next fucking gallery.
Were those like conscious decisions, or were you looking for another place? How did that go?
I'm always looking for another place.
I see.
I'm always looking for the next fucking leg up, you know? And as soon as it fucking comes...
How do you know what that is, though? Like, how do you know what a leg up is versus...
Name and reputation.
Uh-huh.
Of course. I know. I mean, like, right now I'm showing with Corey Helford Gallery. I've been showing with them for quite a while now. But as soon as, like, you know, someone with a slightly better reputation, you know, invites me and, like, wants me to...
what's the higher reputation than Corey Helford?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. So there's no such thing, you're saying?
No, there's definitely such a thing.
Okay.
Oh, there's absolutely. I mean, like, I look...
Name one. I mean, it's not Gagosian, because I think that would be a stretch, like, right away.
No,
right?
that is a stretch. No,
Right.
but like all these like upper tier, the top tier galleries, yeah. I mean, there's tons of top tier galleries that I'm nowhere close to. But the thing is that
What's
like,
in between?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Ace Gallery.
Is that good? I hear nothing but bad things. That
You hear about their reputation, but they're fucking the artists that they work with are
Date
maybe
farmers, right?
yeah, like.
But I think they left, right? Like I think a lot of them left.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's just a name that I fucking
Right.
threw out there.
But I
mean,
don't know.
like,
I don't know many more though. Like
No, I don't know either, especially in Los Angeles.
yeah.
Maybe the next level's in New York.
Right. Okay.
But like,
Is Honor Fraser a bigger name?
yeah, absolutely.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, I think so because if you're fucking showing a artist on that level, on that tier.
I don't know. I've never, like I said, I don't hear of their shows for 2 years until Cause shows, and then I don't hear of another show. And
I'm just making the assumption that because an artist like Cause is showing there, that like they have a reputation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think a lot of it has to do with the reputation of the fucking artists that they're showing.
Sure.
There's a symbiotic relationship between gallery and artists.
Yeah. But I just don't know if that's necessarily better.
No, well, I
have
mean,
no
I
idea.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, freaking some galleries.
I'm just trying to figure out how to judge what a gallery is, like how a gallery is better necessarily.
I mean, there's also other factors that come into play, right? Like, if a gallery is going to fucking try and tie me down, with a fucking whatchamacallit. I mean, okay, well, actually, we do know another gallery. I think the next tier up from fucking Corey Holford gallery is the fucking gallery that fucking Space Invader and fucking Mike, what's his name? Last name? Mike Lee is showing at.
OTI.
Yeah. I think that's probably the next level.
Maybe that's.
I would like to think there's something in between the two.
I think there's probably a lot in between. Yeah.
But like
I think they're pretty big. So.
But like I think that like those and so you're as artists we're constantly trying to develop our fucking what we're doing, evolve what we're doing, and find spaces that like what we do, see our potential, feel like they have an audience for it, and fucking move on up,
right?
But the thing is that like I personally would not want to fucking show at a gallery that's going to fucking tell me what to fucking do.
Right.
Unless they're going to fucking pay me fucking a monthly stipend.
Uh-huh.
Then like, you're not my fucking boss. I do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
And so, that's I think that's just kind of one of the things. I mean, like if you want to fucking like be in fucking Japan and tie me down to fucking this is the only place in Japan that you fucking show at, I mean, actually, what's that one fucking gallery in Japan? It's a pretty big one. It shows a lot of artists that you put on the cover a long time ago.
Oh, Mizuma Gallery.
Mizuma.
Yeah.
I would consider Mizuma next tier, level up from fucking.
They show Makoto Ida.
Right.
Yeah, I think his work sells for millions of dollars too now these days.
Did I tell you that I went to his retrospective in not Roppongi. It was in this one skyscraper that looked out all over Tokyo.
Roppongi Hills, the museum.
Yeah,
Morty Art Museum.
Sure. Yeah. I saw his retrospective
awesome.
there. It was fucking amazing.
I saw him super high maybe in the Shibuya station. And he was squatting with art supplies, and he was just squatting. And I saw him, and I was like, "Whoa, it's Makoto Ida!" And I like said hi, and his eyes were like shot like crazy. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's he's
not
on narcotics,
well.
man." Yeah.
I love Makoto Ida.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder whether or not I like him more than I like freaking Murakami.
He's amazing.
Because his work is so like
he's a trip
eclectic and like he did that one freaking gigantic painting of like a woman dressed up in the Ultraman orange fucking uniform with a King Ghidorah like freaking raping her. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Or then like the one with the schoolgirls all committing seppuku.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man, his work is amazing. Fucking love that guy.
He's rad.
But
I wonder, like I don't know where he shows in America. Like when he shows here, I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But like, fucking I think that, and I think all artists to a certain degree are playing that same game.
Oh, I think so.
Well,
everyone's hoping for something.
Right. I mean, like, in all,
right?
that's all I'm
you're
doing.
You're working toward whatever's next for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
I don't think any fucking artist should be fucking content with where they're at.
I guess I wouldn't think so. If you're really hustling, yeah, no.
Yeah, but like, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I often like,
But sometimes you're just making work, man. And if you're making work and you're exploring, I'm not sure if that's the best time to like transition out to like another gallery. Like,
well, I mean, like,
oh yeah, I'm gonna try my new shit at this gallery.
No,
Probably a bad idea.
No, it's totally a bad idea.
Yeah. I've had people do it to me, where like they worked at one place and then they come to show a giant robot, and then it's like, here's my new shit, and I'm like, fuck, your old shit was better, and your new shit is not going to do well here.
Right.
I could tell.
Right.
And sure enough, it doesn't. I'm like, well, that's a goodbye,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, that was a bad idea. I guess, I didn't go in expecting new shit.
No. Well, I mean, like,
some new style that was temporary that's now, to this day, now it's gone. Like, they don't even do it anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, that was a bummer.
Right. Well, I think that's the thing. I think that, like,
you burned yourself right there.
If you're going to fucking experiment with stuff, then fucking fit it in, to fucking what you're doing now. Like, don't fucking.
That takes a lot of thought, though. Some artists can't do that.
I don't know. You saw my last show. There was all kinds of shit I experimented with, scattered throughout there, and I leveraged it with stuff that I knew that would do well.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I kind of realized, like, okay, and like after doing all that, it's like, okay, I got it. I kind of got it out of my system. Like, now I'm going to try going in this different direction.
Right.
And see how that fucking works. And I don't know. I mean, like, fucking art. If you're going to show your art in a fucking gallery, and you're going to have prices on it, and that gallery is going to fucking make money on that, and you're going to make money on that, then you're a fucking business.
Sure.
And you got to fucking think a little bit more like a fucking business.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, I know. There's these fucking stupid romantic notions of fucking like, oh, I want to like, I want to do polka dots one day, and I'm going to do fucking like, clowns the next day, and it's like, what?
You might not be an artist if you think like that, though. You're calling yourself one, but you're not doing any favors to art.
Well, it's because they're looking at contemporary artists who fucking like, will create bodies of work, and then, after a couple of years, they'll fucking go into do another whole different fucking body of work,
yeah.
And it's, and they're under this impression that like, hey, fucking that's how it goes. That's what being a contemporary artist is. And I mean, like, I get it. Like, I want to be able to be able to do things on a whim as well. But the thing is that, like, unfortunately, at least in the level of fucking, of an art world that I exist in, it just doesn't fucking work.
Right.
I think that, like...
Well, it's governed also partially by sales, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's governed by sales. People vote with their money. They don't like your shit that you're doing, then they won't buy it. I mean, it's that simple, but you have to be, conscious of that too. Mm-hmm. That just because you make something gnarly and it took a lot of time doesn't mean it's worth it's worth something to somebody else.
Right.
It's kind of how you have to kind of be careful of that.
Well, I also think that it's
time doesn't mean money.
A collaboration between the gallery and the fucking artist, right? The thing is that like the gallery, I mean, like, if you're going to, like, do a whole new body of work and stuff like that, then you have to fucking really explain it. You have to explain yourself. Yeah. That way the gallery can fucking be behind it.
Right.
You can't just go like, oh, it's just something fucking new. Fucking, you got to, like, like, have a rationalization for why you transition from one direction to another. And sell it to the gallery so the gallery can sell it to their fucking collectors.
Right. The people.
Yeah. I mean, that I think that, like, makes a lot of sense, and I mean, like, if an artist fucking is known for one thing and they start, going in a different direction, and then they explain the philosophy behind, that this change in direction, do you think and it makes sense to you? Do you think you could be able to, as a gallerist, do you think you can be able to sell this idea to your collectors?
That'd be tough. Maybe. It depends what it is, but yeah.
I mean, I
hope so. You know, if you're gonna go for it, you hope so.
Do you ever like find yourself like kind of having like a sit down with your artists as they're showing their socials, like to try and wrap your head around like what they're doing?
Usually, it's not that complicated for me at Giant Robot. Like I don't run into too much of that.
Right.
But I've run into situations where I got art that I did not expect, and it was really hard to market it and stand behind it. You know, I showed wow, I can't remember her name now. A Japanese artist from New York who does really like naive looking work that looks like it's like paint blobs, you know, and there's faces and it could be cute, but I forgot her name. Misaki Kawai, is that her name? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, but I think she once showed at the LA Art Book Fair, like she painted the wall, like she was the featured artist with doing a mural, and
Okay.
she showed once, and I think I had like 10 pieces of her work. I put it on the wall, and people thought they hated it, like it was garbage.
Really?
Yeah, and that was one of the weirdest shows where people were just making fun of it the whole time, thinking it's like, oh, my little kid does art better than this, like the whole time. And I was like, oh, I can't explain this because this artist doesn't live here. I didn't really have a conversation with them about it. I didn't quite, like I saw art that they did and I got different stuff. And I was like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting.
Right.
And it was very naive looking art that
Oh,
I had a hard time. I didn't sell anything that time.
Uh,
If I remember, I don't think I sold one thing and it was, that was a bad showing.
oh,
Yeah. And, people were making fun of it and stuff, like saying basically it's garbage.
wow.
Yeah. So that was like too high art for my space, that belongs somewhere else where a person who can sell what look like really naive art can get away with that, but I can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, like-
but she's big. She's a big artist actually, and I couldn't sell that. I couldn't make anyone believe in that.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like, how big is she?
Probably, I think a pretty big artist, man. Like, I don't know. She has books and shit and solo shows and shit. So I don't know how to explain.
In New York?
I think all over the place, if I'm not mistaken.
See, okay, well, this kind of gets into a...
It's sort of like Banksy. If I showed Banksy when no one knew who Banksy was, let's say I did, people would probably think it's garbage. And I'd have to deal with that.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with...
If you didn't know who Banksy was and I was showing it, you'd probably, there's people that were selling it on the street, and remember the hoax was that it was real, but like it was like there was like a guy on the street selling art, and it was actually really Banksy art, and he was selling it for cheap, right? And that's an example. It's like people don't know.
Well,
It looked like kind of like not good. And
well, I mean, that's the dilemma with like his technique, right? Like freaking, you look at like his work. It's a cut stencil.
yeah,
Freaking, with a clever narrative.
yeah,
Now, he he is, his work is, like amazingly, fucking clever. I remember like, being very excited by his work, before that, Exit from the Gift Shop came out, and was, super impressed by it. Now, his stuff on canvas doesn't really do much for me.
mm-hmm.
It's his street art that I find, because he uses his environments.
Yep.
To like, I remember like what? Do you remember the street art show at the Mocha? Freaking
Art in the
like
Streets.
Art from the Streets.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought his contribution was the weakest part of that fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't just fucking like I remember like he was doing like fucking like whatchamacallit, tire cuffs on fucking like statues of chariots, and he was doing like stuff on train bridges to kind of bring attention to like some weird kind of thing, and
ironically the Art in the Streets show is art not in the streets, right?
Right.
It was just examples of work that they can get from people. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So that's what they got from Banksy, but he's a big name, so he's in the show. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is that like the problem is like I mean like, and it depends on the fucking price.
Sure.
Like if those fucking canvases, the exact same canvases. I mean, and I guess this is the point that Banksy was making, is that if you took those exact same canvases and put them in a space that with, 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% a little bit of accreditation credit.
You're talking about context, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's in the right context.
Because,
Therefore, now it's 6 digits, and then it's on the street. It's $40.
Right. And
Right.
and that is kind of like the unfortunate thing about fucking art in general. Like, you saw that video that the Adam Ruins Everything video I sent you.
Yeah.
And like, this that's obviously a commentary on contemporary art.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, it, if you have a bunch of people, if the right people fucking championing your name, you could fucking literally rub, your feces on a fucking canvas, and fucking people will fucking think it's brilliant.
Right. Or they'll pay attention to it at least. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
the thing is that,
That's,
like,
that's the hype business, or whatever that is.
right. Exactly.
How people do that, I don't know, but yeah, that's the hype business.
And I definitely think that, like, what we're seeing, at least in Los Angeles, with that entire juxtapose kind of backslash illustrative art movement that, like, has been kind of going strong now for the past, I don't know, 20 some years. It has been this kind of interesting return of a good art because it's good,
Right.
kind of movement. It's this entire, and, like, I don't think, and the sad thing is that a lot of the artists who are part of that movement don't really kind of realize that, like, it's actually trying to stand up against this, like, fucking game that is being played.
Yeah.
In the museums and the upper echelons of, the art, world.
But they're part of it too, right? Ultimately.
Well, I mean, they want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
They want to, I mean, like, I want to fucking be in that game. I see the numbers that are fucking being thrown around there. Fuck yeah, I want to be a part of that. But the thing is that, like, what are the chances of that happening? Slim to none.
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
don't
true.
know. Yeah.
It depends on how well you play your cards.
Sure.
And I think that, like, and whether or not your message is what is hot right now, what's going, like I was talking about, like, frickin' Cause's work being boring last time, and I think that maybe, like, maybe there's something about boring, that, like, or docile.
Even after last week, I saw artists that were copying Cause, very similar styles, like new artists I'd never heard of, and I was looking at going, oh my god, it's totally like, they're just trying to, like, jump into the hype probably, right. And they're doing stuff that looks similar with a similar color palette, maybe different character, their own character, but very similar.
Right,
And I started seeing it on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's these, probably a legion of people that are trying to copy his template of his success, the way he did it.
Right.
And probably maybe they'll get there, but more than likely not, is my guess, because it's just too similar, like what they're doing. And it's very intentional and obvious.
Right.
I'm like thinking, man, you guys are just like copying somebody else. And it's so obvious. Like, I see it, I'm like, geez, it reeks of copying and desperation too. It's kind of sad.
Right. Well,
I mean, nothing.
I don't know whether or not they're copying to necessarily become that thing, but they're definitely. I mean, like, you see something and you like it and you're inspired by it, then fucking, like, like, great, go for it. But the thing is,
as you say though, or as you have said, as an artist, what does it say about them? The art, the art says nothing about them.
It depends on where they are in their fucking quote unquote career. And I say career in quotes.
Right.
I
don't think it says anything about them, though. I think it says something about Cause, not them,
Sure. But the thing is that, like, I think art in general is this learning by doing kind of thing. You see something, like, the piece, I don't know whether I've mentioned this on the show, but the piece of advice I always try and, like, recommend to young artists is go to a gallery. See what sells.
You said this last episode.
Right?
Yes.
And fucking, like, see if you could fucking learn from, understand why it's sold.
Right. Put X's on the eyes.
Well, no. Well, I mean, if that's what you see as to why fucking Cause fucking sold that piece, then you're not seeing it. You know what I mean? You know, and fucking like, you know, incorporate what you learn into your work.
Right.
You know, so I mean, like, you know what, you know, Cause's X's on his eyes are just his fucking signature.
Right.
You know, there's more to what he's doing than just that. You know.
Oh, it's not art. It's everything outside of the art, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I should just fucking like take a bunch of Cause paintings and fucking replace his X's with O's.
And there you go. So tic-tac-toe, man.
You know, it'll be funny. You know, I'll be. You could call me Walk. No, Swak.
Oh my God.
You
Backwards.
know. But you know, I mean, I think that like, you know, that would actually be kind of funny. Spock.
There were bootleg toys of his, right?
Yeah, I own some.
Oh, do you?
I won't pay fucking like hundreds of dollars for that fucking shit. It's
But
fucking made out of vinyl.
But I mean, what about the ones that are made? Not they're like kind of like almost like the way the Japanese bootlegged your T-shirts. They made their own versions of your kind of like concept of your art.
Here's what happened in my eyes.
But then there's like, is it the Popeye one that's got X's on its eyes that something Cause never did, but somebody made?
Yeah, that was.
That's what I'm talking about. There's those too.
Yeah,
they're funny, right?
that one.
It's like the characters he hasn't done yet, just with the X's on his eyes. That's really funny too.
Oh yeah,
because you can't tell necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
if you don't know, you wouldn't know. You know?
I've bought like bootleg companions on fucking eBay, and they look great.
Right.
First of all, you know, and the other thing, and they're at a price that I think they're worth. You know, like people who are willing to pay fucking $800 for a vinyl sculpture. Okay.
Oh, why are you calling it a sculpture? Is it a sculpture or is it a toy?
It's a fucking it's a sculpture.
It's a fucking toy, dude.
No, it's a sculpture.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's got movable arms, movable leg, movable
Yeah, but
head.
you know the thing about those movable, the reason why those places that they have articulation there is because it wouldn't work in a mold.
Right.
You need those when I create toys, I don't fucking create toys because the arms are articulated. I don't have the cut marks there because of articulation.
Oh, because it's the molds. But
Yeah.
doesn't it say Medicom Toy on it on the box?
Yeah, well,
goddamn, that's a toy.
Medicom Toy is a company. Yeah, but
And that's called a toy.
But it's also a quote unquote art toy.
Okay,
so,
that's an art toy.
You know, okay, whatever. I will refer to it as sculpture.
If it's a sculpture, then $800 is a good price.
But
here's
the thing: it's made out of fucking vinyl.
Yeah, I know.
Now that okay, I have a friend who I would like to bring on as a guest one time, next time or one of these times. But like he's a toy guy, toy producer and
vinyl
sculptor.
degrades, man.
Yeah, vinyl. The reason why vinyl became popular
Vinyl
with Michael
sweats.
Lau and the fucking all that entire 1980 in that late 80s fucking Michael Lau, Kevin fucking
90s,
Sung fucking
90s, yeah.
art
Eric
Hong
So.
Kong art
Yeah.
art toy fucking thing. The reason why it was vinyl is because it was the cheapest way of producing their fucking toy. The absolute dirt cheapest way of producing their fucking creations.
Right.
And it started a trend. That's all it did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like fucking, you know, it's a fucking terrible trend because you're creating shit that will naturally degrade after time.
Yep.
It sweats, it leaches fucking oils and
some
fucking
do,
chemicals.
Some do it faster than others.
Oh yeah.
Some will sweat in a year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and so fucking like, you know, yeah.
That's the scary part about it is if you own it and then it starts degrading, you're owning, you know.
You're owning something that definitely has a shelf life.
I've told people that about their Cause dolls. I'm like, okay, so you have this Cause companion, and I was like, do you realize that thing's going to start sweating out eventually, and you know, it's going to get sticky, and what, you know, and it's going to get that way. And some are like, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah, like it can happen.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if
going to
when.
discolor. It's going to fucking like, you know,
Sure.
it'll, and then like 50, 60 years from now,
or less than that.
You know, 40 maybe, it'll start getting brittle.
Yeah.
You know, you pick it up and your thumb goes through it.
Yeah.
You know, fucking.
I don't know. Is there a way to preserve that though? I mean, because you know there are Ultraman toys that are that old, and they're still kind of vinyl-ish, right? I don't think they're sticky, but I mean they look funky.
Well, I mean, I
none
think,
of them are look like pristine, brand new.
No. Like you go to
they
like,
don't, you know.
You know, I've got some old. I got one old Ultraman Sofubi that I bought while I was in Singapore a while ago, And it's an interesting piece because it's literally soft. Like you can squeeze it, and it's like but like I do wonder about like the Sofubi things. Actually, I think all you need to do is look at fucking old first generation Barbie dolls.
Right.
Because
Well,
that's
that's from the 50s, I guess. I'm not even sure how old those are, but
Yeah.
those aren't made out of vinyl, though, are they? Are they
they're
plastic?
made of Sofubi.
Are they?
Yeah, because those things were made in Japan.
I have no idea.
Yeah, all the like.
Aren't they hard plastic?
No, because in order to cut to create that jointless knee, and the jointless ankle, they poured soft vinyl into the molds over the armature.
I see.
To give Barbie the
I don't know. I never owned
the
a Barbie.
silhouette.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know either, and I don't have an old timer Barbie.
I thought they were made out of hard plastic.
No, those are soft vinyl.
Like, what is a G.I. Joe? Isn't that hard plastic?
G.I. Joes are hard plastic, but they didn't really care to hide fucking articulation because they were always put in army fatigues and shit
That's
like that.
true.
But to have a leggy fucking Barbie,
Right.
you had to coat the. I learned that in the the Toys That Made Us fucking documentary on Netflix is very interesting.
Oh, wow.
But like so I am not sure about like Japanese vinyl. But like, I'm not even really sure whether or not that stuff like maybe it has a slightly longer shelf life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just has a way of aging well and looking good. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're fucking like displaying your vinyl stuff in display cases in well lit rooms, yeah, you're killing your vinyl.
And I think also, is it the environment you're in? The environment, like if you're in a humid area, it probably sweats faster and easier.
I imagine it would.
I remember hearing someone tell me that they live in a humid environment, that their toys and stuff like that just got ruined over time.
Oh yeah,
like, quickly.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh shit! Like
it
needs to be dry, like an air conditioned environment.
Yeah, you want it dry.
Yeah.
You want it to be cool.
Yeah,
and
I think their stuff got like moldy and all kinds of shit went
on
with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I have a room where I keep all my like collectibles and toys and everything like that. And I bought a whatchamacallit one. I blacked out the fucking windows of that fucking room, so no UV
dehumidifier. Did you get one of those?
I live in California.
Yeah.
I don't need a. Fortunately, in California, you don't need a
That's true,
dehumidifier. But like. I just didn't want the UV light to fucking
eat it up.
Yeah, eat up the fucking the plastics.
Sure.
So I think that, and most of, and that's because I have like the bedroom sides on my apartment are sun facing. So
block that shit.
the rest of the apartment's pretty dark.
So somebody mentions on our on the YouTube. They mentioned, oh boy, those Funko collecting dorks are in for a real treat.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I mean, like,
isn't that funny?
Most of them keep it in the boxes anyways, right? Because
that's irrelevant, right? I mean, I heard who told me that they bought a Camille Rose Garcia, that toy that I don't know, was maybe a foot tall.
Right. I have one of those.
And somebody said, I mean, this is years ago, that they never removed it from the box, and that shit, when they did, it was super sticky. And
oh yeah, well, I mean,
this was like many years ago. They told me that. I'm like, you never removed it from the box, so they touched it for the first time and found out that inside it was completely gnarly.
The thing is,
I was like, shit, that sucks.
The toys, these are toys that never, like, I mean, they're just fucking, because they have that flexibility. Right, that just means that the chemicals that are inside the fucking the toy are only like set to a certain degree.
Sure.
I
don't know. That's chemistry, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I do know that. I mean, certain ones sweat out fast. I mean, was that a Critter Box toy? Maybe. I'm not sure.
It might have been Critter Box.
Right, but I just know that those are, like, someone told me that theirs was super sweaty, and this was years ago, like 8 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
They told me, oh, it's sweaty already, and I was like, shit, you only bought it like a few years before. And then I think that clear resin also changes colors and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like clear resin or clearish.
Well, resin in general.
Yeah.
Resin in general,
I'm
discolors.
I'm a little unfamiliar. I'm only seen mostly see white resin or something.
Right.
But people who have clear toys, I know some of that gets sticky and the resin actually starts, you know, like gets cloudier.
I think there's a whatchamacallit. There are videos I think you could look up online on how to remove that kind of gumminess,
Right.
or at least to clean it off.
Yeah.
You know, without scarring the paint. You know, but like, I don't know. Like
But you can't fix if it's cloudy.
I know.
You
I
or-
actually have one of those Camille Rose Garcia figures in my display case at my mom's place. I'll probably like maybe tonight when I go and drop off like these snacks. You know, and
sorry to say, maybe it's sweaty, but maybe not. I
yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, like
Yeah.
it's been in the open air in a display case,
Yeah.
so like it's not been in the box. But like,
Is it leaving in the box? Do you think worse then?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, like the thing about leaving it in the box is you don't have air moving around it. You know, you kind of keep it in this like quote unquote stable environment, right? And I think that like, you know, another thing is that like, you know, whenever like I do a toy, I try and set like, you know, make sure that the factory completely paints my figures. Like I want a layer of paint over everything. I don't want raw vinyl,
Right.
you know, on my, you know, on the toys, because I think that like raw vinyl ages, you know, pretty quickly, and you know, paint will at least hide that discoloration, you know, for a while.
Oh, it puts a protective coating on it too, right?
Right.
I think
Sure.
it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, anyways, fucking people who are like, you know, gambling on the vinyl toy thing.
Oh, gambling? That's a bad one.
Well, gambling in the sense that they're
That's scary.
buying to flip, they're buying to
Oh, you better flip that right away if you're gonna flip it, right?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
hold it for like a decade and expect magic to happen. You know,
Well, you know, I mean,
things can go wrong. You might be in for a surprise.
I think that's the thing with the flipper market in general.
Yeah.
Like,
Most of that though is all about like hype and speed, right? You're first to get it, sell it right away for the highest price, and then you know that everyone's hype on it goes down, and then obviously the prices goes down, right?
well, you know, I mean, like, I remember what was it, a couple years ago, fucking, I remember looking at, like, someone posting a screenshot from eBay of a,
Don't you hate when people send that to you, or do you like it? You don't like it.
I saw it on Facebook. I didn't, like, you know, it wasn't sent to me specifically, of a whatchamacallit, a Funko Pop being flipped for $10,000.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I think it was a Bob's Big Boy fucking
That must be
Funko Pop.
Well, okay.
You know, and it was, you know,
Why?
I don't understand.
Oh, wow, weird.
I really don't understand.
Wait, did someone buy it, or was it
Yeah,
just the
no,
price
it was
tag?
sold at $10,000.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And you know, fucking.
I guess there's a hot collector's market for Funko Pops, right? There is a market for that. So, but $10,000, holy smokes!
Oh man, Funko Pops.
I know.
You know, I don't really have a love or a hate for either of them. I actually kind of think that Funko Pops are the gateway to the second art toy movement in the United States. The reason being that, like, you know, the appeal of a Funko Pop is that A, it's cute, B, it's a licensed,
Yep.
you know,
It's
toy,
cheap.
and it's cheap.
Really low priced.
You know,
Yeah.
for, you know, like, so if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know, or if you're a Marvel fan, or, you know, a DC fan, or, you know, any of the Star Wars fan, whatever, you know, they have a Funko Pop for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can, like, I own one somewhere. It's a xenomorph. I got an alien from Aliens.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if I've ever bought a Funko Pop, but yeah, our shop sells some. You know, Giant Robot has some Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I usually just get the weird ones. Like I got Akeem from Coming to America, right? I know I got Akeem, Prince Akeem.
Did you have him in the hamburger outfit, or do you have him in the arriving to Queens outfit?
I think it's that one. Yeah, right, the Queens. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think I have I just get the weirder ones that I think are funny. Oh, Bob Ross. Usually, if I
Oh
have a
yeah,
Bob
I think that's pretty new,
Ross
isn't
Funko
it?
Pop. That's been around for a year, maybe.
Okay.
So I'd get a few, but yeah, I'm not
I
gonna.
would love to get like some artist series ones,
Yeah,
like
I would
fucking a
think
Salvador Dali, fucking
Yeah.
Funko Pop would be funny.
They should do. They should go and they should just do it anyway. Like they should do a Keith Haring, a Basquiat,
Yeah,
blah blah blah, all that
a
kind of bullshit.
Warhol, yeah.
They should do all that stuff, but I don't know if they will. They
Well,
probably will. They have to
here's
get license for it all, I guess.
but here's the thing about fucking the ones that don't exist. Artists out there or customizers out there are buying Funko Pops when they see one that they can, see, with a little bit of tweaking, can be turned into something
Wait,
completely different.
Are there custom lots of Funko Pops that are customized?
I believe there
actually,
are.
I haven't seen any.
I believe there. I believe there's an entire
a world out there?
community
That's
out
cool.
there dedicated to that.
Right on. Just like Lego, right? There's Lego customizing Lego figures.
Just
tiny
like
little figures.
art toys.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
mean that remember like when
It's a
custom
thing,
art
sure.
shows were a big deal. That was like
Is it
what?
back?
It's
No.
coming back
It's
with Funkos.
Yeah.
But like it's also a very niche audience.
Yeah.
And
But for a while, people were spending top dollar on that stuff.
right.
Like a customized piece was selling as much as the same as like a painting for some artists, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe their toys were more
Well,
expensive than the
my
paintings.
customs were never close to the price of my paintings.
Right.
But the thing is that like
Some artists, that's all that. I guess you could even say artists. This was their art.
yeah, it was. No, there was we both knew a lot of artists who were very active in
And
that.
I don't know if they scaled out of that, like as the toy thing kind of was less popular, that they were able to make 2D paintings or drawings that was sold.
Well, I think
not
some
sure.
of them, I was just looking at Drill One's whatchamacallit, social media, and he kind of isn't. He's still doing sculptural stuff, but it's not toys.
Oh, good.
He's doing like
Original sculptures.
kind of original sculptures kind
good.
of stuff. So
Awesome.
which is great. But the thing is that
This
like
stuff has a specific style that I always liked.
yeah,
kind
he's
of
very
military.
rustic and military.
Rusty, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But the thing is that like from the custom, Funko Pops, people are kind of discovering through that network like this kind of like art toy kind of thing. And I've met, like there's plenty of people on my social media that I've met, I've chatted with, who've PM'd me that have like the word Funko in their like screen name.
Wow.
And it's kind of like, oh, very cool. Like I'm glad that you like what I do, and they're or they whenever I do a toy release or whenever I do certain like personal releases, they contact me and want to like make secure something and stuff. And I'm always happy to help.
Cool.
So and so yeah, I think that like now. Will it be quite like on the level of how things were like back, fucking 12 years ago? I don't know. Probably not. But the thing is that like it's still like, but I don't mind it being an underground movement either.
Yeah.
You know,
What you mean Funko customizing?
just toys, art toys, art
art toys,
collectibles,
yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean,
Sure.
like it. I think
It's
it'll.
weird though. It's become there's also the higher end of that though, right? The artist making whatever sculpture-esque figures, or I guess resin quote sculptures.
Right.
There's more and more of that happening these days.
Yeah.
I'm noticing.
Yeah. I've been
Artists that don't usually do 3D objects are making 3D objects.
I've been trying to think of a
On high end, they're trying to sell it for $300,000, $500,000 type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
More
like
and more. Yeah.
well, even like say like Cause, Murakami, all those guys are still active in these kind of collectible communities.
for sure.
And there's definitely like I don't know. I and the way I kind of look at it is if you're going to be creating these kind of art collectibles, then as long as those collectibles are true to your aesthetic or your ideals, then there's nothing wrong with creating them.
Yeah.
It's only
sure.
when you start bending over a little bit to something that is like, in order to try and make something marketable,
Right.
quote unquote marketable.
Get in on the trend and market yourself with something. Trying to fit in another category, maybe.
Right.
Yep. I see
Then you kind of might have to answer up to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think that like I mean, like, you know, at least for me personally, like, you know, I'm, you know, I have to kind of like, you know, in order to sustain the kind of living that I'm currently enjoying, I can't just rely solely on the selling of paintings to fucking like make my
Oh, but you
ends
can
meet.
someday, soon, maybe.
Hopefully,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you know, I mean, like it's pretty. I mean,
Get
like,
there. You're
I
getting
mean,
there.
like, you know, I don't want to fucking like, you know, like. You know, I mean, like, you know, the more I make, the more I spend, baby.
But you know, at the same time, it's you're at a personally, I think you're at a spot where you're probably unsatisfied, but you're you know always pushing forward, and then there's a 10,000 kids or at least 1,000 probably that are just like you know in awe of where you're at least 1,000, right? Maybe
Well,
10,000, but
who knows?
I could no probably 1,000 at least, and you know they want to get to where you're at, you know, so
Yeah, you know, and
yeah,
you know, just work hard.
and only you know a handful will, and
Yeah.
then
Well, it's tough,
yeah.
right? Like, you know, I mean, looking back at my own career, like fucking, I never planned on fucking being an artist when I was in college.
Sure.
You know, I mean, we grew up in that time when fucking, you know, art like was constantly fucking associated with the artist was constantly associated with starving.
Yeah.
You know, so I never thought that I'd fucking like, you know, have a chance to, you know,
Yeah, I'm Asian.
be
you
a
know?
successful
I'm
artist.
Asian, man. I'm supposed to be a doctor. I'm supposed to
Exactly.
run the medical field.
I'm supposed to be an engineer.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have like solved cancer by now, but I went to this doing this giant robot shit, kind of ruined it. You know, I was supposed to find the cure, but
Oh, I know. And now people are still dying, Eric,
Oh, my
because
God.
you fucking like became selfish.
exactly. See,
You
I
know.
found I decided to go
Your
my
parents
own
must
way.
be really proud.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that like there's a lot of I think there's a lot of other people out there who have very different experiences that I would love to have on that
Sure.
to kind of talk about it, because I mean, like, you know, the one thing I think that I can honestly say for myself is that these are my experiences, and my experiences are not some kind of grand generalization for the, you know, the big experience of like, you know, being a quote unquote artist who also does collectibles and is at this kind
I
of
think
level.
you're a pretty good example, though. I think better than most. You know what I'm saying? Better
What do you
than
mean?
most. You're balancing a career that does all of these things, whereas some only do one of those things. Some that make paintings, they make shitty toys, and some make great toys but shitty paintings. You know, it doesn't. It doesn't. There's no equilibrium. It's usually one or the other.
Mm.
There's only a handful big handful of people that can do it all. So, you know, or there's some that make great paintings that no one ever sees. You know, that's sitting in their side of their house, and it's amazing. Just we don't get to see it. Nobody
Yeah.
appreciates it. There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean,
And there's a lot of great toys and figures that I saw at Designer Con. I was like, God, but who is this person? And there's no marketing, and I've never heard of them, and I'll never see this toy again. But it's pretty nicely done. You know?
Yeah,
And there's that too, right? The opposite end. It's like, good job. No, I'm not paying for that.
yeah. Well,
And I don't know
mean,
what it is, you know. And it's awesome though, but I'm not going to buy it.
I
probably.
often wonder about that, like,
don't
you
have
know,
enough money, you know?
name recognition, you know, and actually, you know, like, you know, like I think we were talking about branded art kind of stuff last week.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a lot of like Japanese toy designers out there that really adhere to you know, specific brand, you know, and like, you know, if you try to do anything remotely similar to what they do, you know, everyone will know that you're fucking
Right.
trying to do their shit, you know. And I just like you know, like one of there's that female or that woman or girl artist. She does these like little round heads with like devil horns on it. I think you know
Little round head with devil horns
and two
on
little
it.
dots for eyes.
God damn it! Usually there's only two eyes. Yeah, you know, like, oh yeah, there's 3 dots for the 3 eyes. No,
No, but she doesn't. They don't have elaborate eyes. It's little
Right.
dots. God, what was her name?
and devil horns.
They're like, yeah, like little bull horns, round head.
Wow,
Anyways, like, you know, she's a.
is that UAMAO UAMAO whatever? That's what it is, right?
I'm looking her up
Yeah,
right
that's her
now.
name. UAMAO.
UM.
UAMAO.
Oh God.
Mao, I guess. Is that what it is? It is her.
A-M.
Yeah.
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 Umao.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Sure.
her work is so fucking distinct, and
Yeah.
like she does not sway away from like
No, her shit is staying like that, and there's like fucking 1,000 different things that look. I mean, that she's doing. She's made so many versions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you want a keychain? Got that. Want a finger
Yeah.
puppet? Want a
You want a
toy?
fucking Common Rider one?
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's got it.
Yeah. Wow.
Fucking like,
Yeah. UAMAO. Forget her name. Her name's Ayako.
Aiko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually see her at Designer Con and say hello.
Yeah. She's I love her work.
Yeah. Sometimes she brings her mom, and her mom's helping her sell shit.
Yeah.
Evidently, like something like her brother or something has a cafe, and she has the toy thing that's connected to it in Japan. I've never been to it, but evidently it's sort of like this small. She's just doing her shit on a small scale, but rocking.
Right.
Maybe rocking. I don't know. It seems like it.
And like
her
that,
stuff.
just that kind of like it's artists like that kind of make me wonder to myself, like maybe I should just fucking, hold fast on like my small group of characters and just fucking like go.
That's what she's done, right? Just stayed the course. And I mean, I guess she has other characters, but they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't stray too far.
Yeah. And
I usually pick up something every Designer Con. If I see her, I'll get just something just because of support.
Right. Well,
support.
Well, I like her work too.
Yeah.
I think it's cute. Like I picked up. I usually pick up like the VAG, stuff. Oh, there you go.
And I have a piece right here. So
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cute. It looks like a collaboration with someone.
I have no idea.
Like the ghost is something else.
No,
is
it's
that
her ghost. It's her ghost. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, the little buddy.
Oh, it's got like sparkles and shit on there.
I don't know. I could show it to the camera.
Yeah.
I guess it looks like this.
Is it in focus? Is it focusing?
I don't know, but it's okay.
No.
I see what you're doing though. But yeah.
Nonetheless,
that I do support it. So I dig it.
Well, I mean, like I think that like as I don't know how many like what the percentage of artists are to like people who just like podcasts listen to our show.
I assume people who listen to our show. Actually, I think it varies. I think it probably varies a lot. You're gonna have some artists. Oh, Jeff Soto listens to this podcast, Robot and the
I
Bear.
was so blown. I was blown away that Jeff Soto was listening.
That they're sort of working in.
Right.
We're talking about art. We're talking about marketing art or whatever it is. But I think it's sort of periphery. Their career. It's part of their career. Just a little.
Marketing art. What do you mean by marketing? Like
we've been talking about hype machines and art and stuff like that. I'm not saying how to market art, but we've been talking about the blowing some certain kinds of art or certain artists. We've been talking about that.
Yeah. Oh, how do you? I mean, like, well.
So
you I'm sure you've seen plenty of artists come in and out. Like who would work with you, and then like something happens and. The next thing you know, like,
Candy Bolton says she's painting and listening right now.
Oh, hi, Candy. How you doing?
She's listening to us live, so that's an honor, right? I
love Candy's work. Candy's awesome. We should awesome. Candy. You should be on the show.
Yeah.
I want to like.
I wonder if she'll be shy or very talkative because she's kind of shy in person.
She's kind of shy, but like I think that like once the conversation goes, the conversation goes. Candy's been doing great. Like she's like showing all over fucking Asia and like she was just at Shanghai Toy Show, I believe.
Cool.
So. But I don't know. I think that like. I'm hoping I could do. I'm hoping I'll be going to China in fall or early or late summer, this year. So hopefully I can be able to give you guys a report in on how
the toy thing's doing.
The toy thing's
doing. Is it still continuing? Like, is Asia dominating? Is China dominating?
Well, last year I was very impressed by like what I saw at. The in Hong Kong and in Shanghai. I think that like the it was a really kind of like people were losing their minds for like certain
so cool.
Stuff like what was his name?
That just passed though, right?
They just had a Shanghai Toy Show. I was not there,
right?
But like
what's the next one? Is there a Singapore one? I feel like that passed too.
Singapore is
That just
either
passed, didn't
did
it?
this pass?
I don't know.
Or it might
I'm
be
not sure.
coming up. You know.
Shanghai, Singapore. I don't know. I'm mixing up the two names.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, Thailand is happening this weekend.
Wow.
I think.
Go Thailand.
Yeah, I would love to go to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Love. I was talking to Chris from Q Pop, a little gallery in Little Tokyo, that like unfortunately my understanding of Thailand is
Lady boys.
one. That's one. There's three things that is summed up to three things.
Right. Just Lady Boys just got added in, or was that first?
No, that was second.
Okay, it was already there.
The first one was the song "One Night in Bangkok" by Chess.
Wow. Wait, by who?
On the Chess soundtrack.
Oh, it's Murray Head is the guy.
Yeah,
That's his name, Murray Head.
Yeah, that song,
Yeah.
"Lady Boys" and "Pad Thai." Those are
What about the King? The King.
Don't have
that's
an opinion.
Okay.
Don't have an opinion
Not
about him.
But people love the King there.
Yeah,
Do
or
not-
they hate him.
Oh, do they?
Isn't
never
there
heard
like
anyone- I never heard
almost
anyone
like
say that.
near coup? Aren't there like partial coups and shit like that in fucking Thailand?
I don't know. I thought the King is like revered like a god, but I think didn't the King die? I don't know.
I think they're.
But I just know that there's pictures of the King, and every Thai person I met just loves that dude. Yeah.
Interesting.
I just know that Thai people usually, not all, obviously I'm just generalizing, but they don't like the Burmese people, like Burma, because it's a border, and there's like still border battles, evidently.
Right.
Like there's like murders and shit going on. And
Yeah.
border battles. So I've met Thai people who are just like, yeah, fuck Burmese people, and I've heard people say that. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Damn. Like
I just don't,
actually, years ago, fucking Jesse Yu, a friend, and Ritzy Periwinkle, and who else went?
To where?
Oh,
Thailand?
I know, and Woes.
The Burmese,
Angry Woes.
Burmese toy show.
They went to the Burmese Thailand border
Oh,
to
shit.
do a humanitarian do some humanitarian work and work on a documentary.
Oh wow.
To try and teach the kids art, and stuff like that, and to
Holy
see
smokes.
the living conditions that they were living in, and
Probably
it was
not good.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Very terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's I never saw the documentary, unfortunately, but
So you're not going to Thailand this year,
no,
but
No.
maybe another time.
another time.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I missed my opportunity last year to
Do you have to
go.
work with a toy company there, or can you work with a company that has a booth there?
I
A
usually
toy
work
company
with a company who
that
has a booth there.
there.
Yeah, that
And
way.
do all these toy companies in Asia usually have a booth at each of these conventions? Because
Not,
the
like-
proximity is closer than us flying to Asia, right?
Well,
Like,
I-
if you're a company in Singapore, you might go to Thailand for a show and
Right.
maybe Shanghai for a show, correct?
Right. I work with a
And
company.
maybe Japan too, right? For
Maybe,
that matter.
yeah. Well, I work with VTSS. It's a toy company in Taipei,
Mm-hmm.
and they were the ones that got me to do the Shanghai Toy Show. But then I had a big show in September later
Yeah.
on, at Corey Helford, which kind of cock blocked me from going to Thailand
Oh,
to
damn it.
Beijing.
Corey Helford, that's fucked up. Corey Helford, time to find another gallery.
Yeah. I mean, if only Corey Helford gave me some assistance to fucking do the paintings, then maybe we'd do something else.
Oh, man,
we'll
Giant
do it.
Robot would have done that, but I know.
I know.
All right. Yeah, I know, man.
Why didn't you tell me, man?
Jeez.
Why didn't you tell me?
Shit, the door's always open.
kind of
Except through the gift shop.
But so, and then this year BTSS didn't do Shanghai Toy Show, and I don't think they're doing BTS, but they're doing another event called Yohud or Yohud.
Oh, that's going to be in what, China?
It's it's in
China?
Shanghai, I think.
That's Shanghai also.
Yeah, and
Because nobody wants to go to Beijing for shit because it's far.
dude, no, Beijing fucking is.
It's far, I guess.
Like,
but-
okay, here's the choice. Do you want to enjoy LA like weather or New York like weather?
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just further up.
Yeah. So, Yoho is a lifestyle magazine, like a street lifestyle kind of
Is
magazine.
it kind of like a hype beast kind of a thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's fashion.
And they
Gotcha.
had a big event last year where Ron English took over a gigantic portion of the
Wow.
thing, and they kind of imply that it's kind of like the Complex Con of China. Have you been to Complex Con before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, neither have I.
No.
Yeah,
I usually work on Sunday, man.
I'm not supreme enough to go to fucking.
I'm not either. I really should go, and I want to go, but I have not been. But when I see lines of people outside, and I usually I'm just turned off. And I know people that go just to buy stuff to flip.
Right.
They're there just to do that.
Yeah.
And some have texted me while they're there, going, "Hey, this is sold out, but they do have this. Do you think it's worth something?" And I'm like, "Whoa," like for me to answer that, I'm just like, I don't want. I'm involved now, like in this, so.
Why are they turning to you? That you must have obviously given them some sort of advice.
Well, they're there to buy Murakami stuff, but it's sold out.
Oh, Murakami stuff.
So because of that, they're looking at what else can I buy to flip, and
go to fucking Giant Robot 2 and buy some original Murakami prints.
Yeah, they should do that or something, but they want to flip it, so
your prices are lower than fucking most of the fucking.
But what they wanted was that vinyl figure set, which I don't know how much it cost, but I think the resale value was like 10 times higher than the cost. So immediately, and the person I know he was one person off, like right in front of him, got the last one type of thing.
What was the vinyl figure set?
It was a Kai Kai and a Kiki vinyl figure set, both.
Oh, that must have been nice.
And I think maybe it was $1,000, but then its resale value was like 10 plus.
Wow.
Evidently, I don't know.
Why would anyone? We just went in deep on vinyl. Do yourself a favor, guys. Like, fucking really think hard about it.
Yeah.
If you could flip it immediately, good for you. But like, if you're fucking you're paying that kind of price for vinyl. If you're only listening to this, I'm nodding no. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I mean, like, people. Then again, you only live fucking once.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, man. Why are you on people's case for? People are just like, this is their hobby, is buying and probably flipping stuff. I don't think people are buying most of this to hold forever. Maybe a few are, but I think a lot of people are buying it to flip somewhere.
Yeah, but like, if you're paying flipper prices on fucking stuff.
You mean buying aftermarket?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's weird. Yeah, I think that is weird.
Yeah, that's what my point was.
Maybe they're so rich that's just nothing. That's just a crumb off their ass, like they don't care.
Then use your money to fucking become friends with fucking Murakami.
They don't want to. They're otaku. They're just they're consumers. Like, they're the old sense of the word otaku. They're just pure consumers sitting in front of the computer saying, buy it now. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what the old fucking
otaku's all consumers, right? They're not producers.
I thought it was just a fancy Japanese way of saying nerd.
Nerd, but you are a consumer only, so you would read manga, you'd buy toys.
Okay,
but you don't make toys. You're not involved in
like that's the reason why if you're a
word.
Manga like author or a manga artist, you're not a quote unquote otaku.
That's the old interpretation of it. It's changed. Maybe 10 years ago, it became anyone is an otaku now. And it's become a better word. Not a. It used to be negative. Like, otaku was like embarrassing.
Right.
Like, my kid's an otaku. If you said that, you're saying basically my kid is a loser. Like, I've heard people say that, and they're like bummed. I'm like,
otaku desu. No.
Yeah, and my son is an otaku, and I'm like, but now it's not that bad. I mean, look at American otaku have taken over all the industries, right? Dude, George Lucas is an otaku ultimately. Dude, he's a total dork.
He's a dork.
He's a dork guy, but he creates stuff, right?
Oh,
but
okay.
If that dude didn't make anything, he would just be a dork buying comics, right? Well, Quentin Tarantino, same thing. Worked at a video store.
Quentin Tarantino is a total fucking nerd.
But got started, all of a sudden got a break, started making movies. So he's a creator, but
right.
That the word otaku kind of changed, but the archetype of who they are.
Well, how do you feel about the word otaku being thrown around in fucking in English?
I don't care.
Really?
I'm not protective of that word at all, so it doesn't mean anything to me. I think weeaboo is a much better word.
Weeb or
weeboo. Weeaboo or weeb. Weebs is like a shortening of weeaboo, from what I understand.
Is it?
Yeah.
Weeaboo.
Weeaboo is the longer word.
Is that how it's pronounced? Is it?
Weeaboo is the longer
weeaboo.
word. Yeah.
Weeaboo.
Yeah, you are a weeaboo.
Like
that would be the word. Weeaboo. WEABOOS, like weeaboos or something. Weeaboo. Yeah, then a weeb is the short version. Single syllable.
I think weeb sounds a little bit.
Well, it's a single syllable, so it rolls off the tongue easier.
EABO.
Yeah.
Japanophile.
See, there you go. Anyone who says kawaii too many times in a sentence.
Kawaii.
Yeah.
is the most derogatory slang term for a Western person who's obsessed with Japanese culture,
Booyah.
especially anime, often regarded it as superior to all other cultures.
Weeaboo. See, there you go, man.
You know.
Yeah.
And this is the image. I'm turning Japanese. Oh yes, I'm
Yeah.
turning Japanese. I really think so.
Oh, that's like a meme basically. But yeah, no, it's.
You know.
But yeah, no, I think otaku's fine, but
I kind of take offense to the idea of fucking Americans, like banning about the word, like declaring that they're otaku.
Oh, the declare. Well, I just has a different definition that just keeps morphing, right? Like,
I think
original
nerd
meaning?
culture in different societies.
So you want otaku to be Japanese shit?
Yes.
So it's manga, anime.
No, I
Gundam,
want it to
it's
be
model building.
Japanese people,
Oh, Japanese people only.
and not American Japanese.
Right.
Japanese.
I see. Yeah.
In America, you're a fucking nerd.
Right.
You know?
I get it. So you want to have a distinction and a different meaning.
Right, because I think we talked about this when
Gotcha.
Jesse was here, but like the thing is that like I truly believe that like, being a nerd in Japan or being a nerd in China or being a nerd, in all these different,
What is a nerd in China?
I have no idea, but they
okay.
exist.
I'm sure they exist. I just wonder, what are they following?
Probably Japanese shit.
Oh, okay. So they can't be an otaku ever. They're just a Chinese nerd.
Because the thing is that
You're not an otaku, dude. You're just a Chinese nerd.
well, I mean,
So
I'm about to fucking look.
So when
up.
you go to Shanghai Toy Fair, can you start? You're going, dude, Chinese nerd.
Yeah,
you just say that.
Shu Daizi, or something like that.
That sounds like a bad word right there.
Let me see if I could play it. Here,
All right, okay, wait. Here we go.
let me just play it one more time.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
So that means Chinese nerd.
yeah, this means nerd.
I mean nerd, just nerd.
Nerd in Chinese.
Okay.
So like,
Wow.
I think that like like these words have their own implications.
Yeah, they do in societies, right?
Yeah.
But man, the weeaboos here, there's like a million probably weeaboos in America, and they're using Japanese words rampantly. It's becoming almost like part of English vernacular, though. It is, right? Kawaii, come on, that's like used almost. It's used a lot, don't you think?
I don't know.
You don't want it to, but I know. I think it is.
Maybe. I think it kind of came in with the entire Gothic Lolita culture.
Oh no, that's something I'm not even into. But yeah,
Right. But the thing is that like I think that, like, to be an otaku in Japan, right? Like means like you grew up in the society that had certain constructs,
right.
and
Also limited space, right? You're living among family. It's really tight.
yeah.
So what you're doing is almost like public to your family, right? You can't hide anything.
Right.
It's not easy.
Meanwhile, in like in America, like you can't. I wouldn't call a fucking Japanese nerd a nerd, or an otaku a nerd, and I wouldn't call a nerd an otaku.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because I kind of think that there's certain eccentricities about each of these labels that apply to to the societies.
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe the word otaku is transforming into just this fucking general fucking, word for nerd.
Well, isn't there otakon? Isn't that supposed to be otaku con? Right? That's in America.
Yeah, no, and it's
Right?
fucking
I don't know
annoying.
I don't know where it is, but that's using a
Probably
Japanese
the Bay
word.
fucking area.
I have no idea. Right?
You know.
Otakon. I don't know where that is, but that's an example how that word is being used, and there's a convention with the name.
Jesus,
I forgot about that. So
nerds.
I'm just trying to show you. Yeah, I don't know. Where is this place at Otakon?
Where is it at?
I'm gonna tell you in a moment. Oh wow! Somebody made a comment. Not American. Your quote. Not American Japanese people, but real Japanese people. And you're all wow. But okay, so this is in Washington D.C. Otakon.
Otakon.
East Coast.
East Coast.
Anyway, so I don't know if I'm supposed to be offended by that, but I don't know if that's supposed to be offensive. I'm not offended by that at all. Japanese Americans and Japanese people are very different.
Right.
Like night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like
not
Chinese
even-
Americans and Chinese people are very fucking different.
Yeah.
You know,
They're nothing alike. So, or very little alike.
Yeah.
So no, I get it.
Yeah.
Japanese Americans have their own culture, as a matter of fact, in my opinion.
Right.
However slim and unknown it is, there is definitely a culture of our own
Right.
that no one really knows because it's not documented. Yeah.
Um,
So there, motherfucker.
Right. Well, I mean, that's that's the thing. Like, when people from different cultures kind of assimilate into America, they change.
Yeah.
They reprioritize certain elements of their culture, in order to assimilate into
and it
this
changes
culture.
by generation too. Like, what am I grasping on from my parents, right, or from my mother's side, let's say, who's from Japan,
Right.
right? Anything pop culture, okay, I took that.
Right.
I left out all the boring shit,
Right.
and that's kind of how it is. And then but that's just how generations.
Well,
are,
what about
like,
fob culture? Okay.
yeah.
Like you remember when you were like in elementary school or junior high or whatever, and you see that fucking fob kid, fresh off the boat kid.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they're just this pathetic fucking excuse
of
for
a
a human
yeah.
being,
Oh my
and
God.
like you want nothing to do with that fucking.
Yeah, but a lot of people think, oh yeah, you and that girl should go on a date because you're the only two Asian people.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you go on a date with that person, motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
But I remember it was like that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, there's an Asian female from China. You're Japanese. That's pretty close. You're both Asian. You guys should go fuck.
But then if you look at fob culture now, like fob people, like fobs that like come into the country now, and it's just like,
do they look like the Korean singers? Those Korean bands?
they wear like fucking like tissue. And fucking gigantic, like the girls will wear tissue. Their hair is like, kind of dyed a little, like bleached a little bit.
Right.
And,
What about we're talking about the females.
Yeah.
What about the guys?
Oh, they're fucking K-pop boys now. Fucking like at least a certain proportion of them.
So I'm on Sawtell in West LA. What about the mainland Chinese guys?
Oh my god,
That's
those guys fucking drive me nuts.
So that's another level because the females, I'm like, all right, you're kind of cute, you look good, whatever. And the guy comes in, I'm like, dude, get the fuck out.
Really?
The dudes are horrible sometimes.
Well,
because they dress really bad. Like they're wearing bad slippers and they're wearing warm ups.
Right.
I'm like, dude, why are you wearing a warm up suit? Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
Right.
Nothing. But I like the fact that they're smoking pot.
Yeah.
People from China are like starting to smoke pot. And I'm like, dude, that's a trip.
Yeah.
Like they're going, oh, it's legal.
Right.
And they're smoking pot right on Sawtell on the street. I'm like, that's badass.
Wow.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Know?
Well, I mean, enjoy the legality of it.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't see girls.
it's just-
I don't see girls smoking pot or
yeah.
wearing those outfits. It's kind
There's-
of the dudes are. It's hilarious.
They're well, I mean, like, fucking like, the entire. I have this image of, fucking Complex Con just being fabulous. Fobs all over the fucking place because
Could
like
be.
in those if someone is fucking flipping Supreme shit, chances are the person who's buying is a fucking fresh off the boat
I don't
Chinese
know, though.
guy.
The guys from China are wealthy. Don't they want to keep that shit?
No, because they didn't earn it.
I know, but no,
They didn't fucking earn a penny of it. That's all daddy's fucking money.
So they want to sell it and make more money?
No, they just fucking want to buy shit to fucking be cool.
Oh, I get it. So they're keeping it.
Yeah.
They're not buying it to flip. They're keeping it.
Yeah, they're buying it.
Yeah,
They're
gotcha.
buying it from
Gotcha.
fucking flippers because
Yeah.
they don't fucking understand the value of money.
So who's flipping it then?
Fucking the other fobs.
I don't know about that.
And you know what? You're
only.
only going to fucking hear this conversation here on this fucking podcast because if you have a fucking another white dude who's fucking saying this shit, fuck you. You're fucking racist.
I also think that the people that are flipping it are the ones that follow hype beast, all that hype beast stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily fobs. I think they're just kind of like shitty business-minded people.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's not
fucking-
a good business-minded person. It's kind of like
Right.
It's kind of like shitty. It's
No, yeah. Like my cousin apparently.
it's not a good business. I don't
My
think.
cousin apparently has fucking friends who like have the inside scoop on the fucking Supreme fucking pop up shops.
It's the same people that are buying the Yeezys, I guess, and selling those too.
Christ.
But it's just a different scene. But that scene's now into Murakami, so it's like they're starting to get into art, at least on the most superficial level.
Right.
You know.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's great that, like, you know, people are, like, certain doors are being opened to fucking, you know, introduce people to to worlds that they otherwise would never interact with.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
who
what's cool
knows?
about it.
Maybe they'll fucking, like, you know,
Like your
discover
shit.
my work, right?
Yeah.
You know, and kind of realize that, hey, I too am I too am alone and lonely, and I want to kill myself.
Well,
You know?
well, don't count on them coming up with an answer for what your art might be. Usually, it's surface value. You know, it's just
Right.
so they're not going to think of it that
So
way. They're just
maybe
gonna
I
go,
should
they're
start
gonna go,
designing wall. Maybe I should start designing wrapping paper
Maybe.
and fucking, you know.
You know, I think they'll take it at face value. I don't think they're going to go deeper than that. You know, maybe not that
Well,
audience.
you know, I mean, like,
Do you think they know what you know the breakdown of what these artists' work really means? Probably
No.
not. No, man.
but you know, the thing
just
is
buying
that
shit.
my work is fucking simple and fucking easy to read.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, you know, that's kind of intentional.
Yeah.
You know, like,
They can go on a Supreme skateboard. It's nice and graphically strong. Yeah, see?
thank you. I
Maybe
appreciate
maybe
that.
they should do that.
You know, maybe
Yeah,
I don't
see?
know.
They
Well,
do
I
that?
mean, like, I'm not fucking top tier enough, you know, to fucking be there yet. You know, you gotta, like, I really should just, you know, sign you up as being my fucking pimp. You know, you
Well,
know,
I shall pimp as hard as I can. Then.
you know. I think that, like, I don't know, like, fuck, you know, that entire fucking, like, what is good, what is bad, what is good and what is great is such a fucking, it's so fucking weird. You know, like,
Yeah.
like, how does this fucking work?
Yeah.
You know, I don't even really fucking, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, from my, like if you, like, talk about, like, say, I don't know, like, I think this is I might be wrong with the way I'm generalizing Damien Hirst's career, you know, but with Damien Hirst, he basically, from my understanding, he also, not only was he creating art, but he also had collected a bunch of investors, you know, to essentially buy his work, inflate the value
Oh yeah,
of
I've
it,
heard that too.
you know, the value of the work, and then fucking, you know, and it's basically he artificially inflated the value.
Sure, or
and
he bought his own work, right?
Right.
The whole thing. He just paid for it himself.
yeah, or with his investor group, you know,
Yeah.
and
Raise the value of his own art.
right, you know, and so I think that, like,
I've heard that.
you know, that's just kind of like an interesting kind of, like, you know, way of playing the game as well.
Yeah.
And now I also heard that it crashed, you know, somewhat recently.
Oh
but,
wow.
you know.
Damien Hirst himself, his stuff.
No,
Or-
just like the entire fucking, like, you know, that you know, his investment group,
Oh wow.
like, you know, kind of, you know, crashed.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know about, you know, I might be wrong. I just read it somewhere. I might have misread it.
Right.
You know, I have a tendency of not reading good. You know,
I hear you.
I just kind of look at the headlines. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. I got it.
Got it.
You know, and you know, I'm
do-
American.
I notice I do that sometimes with emails. I hate to say, like, when an email's long, I'm like, oh, in that email was a crucial paragraph that says, you must send your blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I missed the key part of the...
Right. Well, that's the reason why we have boldface and underline.
Yeah, but there's an action sometimes in emails, like requesting an action.
Right.
And I realize that since I do it, that means artists will do the same thing. So if you send something out to people, obviously they may miss the actionable part that they need to respond. You might have to put the actionable part first. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I notice I miss sometimes I miss it. I'm like, oh shit. Didn't see the one sentence that says respond by, the date. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that there was a respond by.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason why, like, when you're, like, doing, like, fucking
Gotta
group
keep
show
gotta keep
stuff.
things short.
Yeah, you got to keep things short. When you're doing, like, I'm
But bold. Yes.
Yeah, you got
Underline,
to
bold.
underline bold the fucking important stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Because people are going to scan it.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also, like, I've done themed kind of loosely themed group shows where an artist sent something in that was off theme, like completely off. And I was like, whoa, like, what is this? How does this apply? And then I asked them and they're like, oh, I didn't know. You know? And I'm like, dude, it's the title. It's everything. And they were just like, oh shit. It's happened.
It's actually
Right.
this happened to me before too. Like
Yeah.
back when I was curating the Vivisect playset shows in at Gallery 1988, it was my first kind of anthropomorphized show.
Uh-huh.
You know, where I wanted,
cool.
you know, and it actually became a toy line and everything. And you know, there was an artist who just submitted, you know, let's say he was known for something,
Uh-huh.
and his
Yeah.
contribution was nothing like what he actually does.
Oh.
You know
What happened? Didn't read?
What?
Didn't read something? Or?
I don't know.
Oh.
I guess he just didn't want to fucking submit what he's known for.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Oh.
instead, like, you know.
Wait, where's my pen? Where's the paper? No, I'm kidding. You don't have to do that.
I'm going to do it.
Oh, it's on video, so you might wanna block.
no one's gonna fucking see it.
Okay.
But like,
Well,
you
look
know,
at that. Look, you could see how many strokes you're writing. Yeah, that's a letter O right there. Oh yeah, that person.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got past the 2-hour mark.
Yeah,
Again.
we did.
Yep. You know,
There's never enough time. Like I think we're at 2:10, and man, we didn't even talk about all the stuff we were going to talk about.
you know, that's
That's a good problem.
we hit up a lot of different fucking subjects.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, we jumped from like art biz, Game of Thrones to art business to fucking like nerd shit,
Gallery
and fucking
business, yeah, art
vinyl
business,
toy
yeah.
business.
Well,
and,
vinyl toy business is interesting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of people I really would like to
Yeah.
you know bring in for as guests, you know, for that show.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll bring a guest next week of any.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
But what do we got going on this weekend?
This weekend, I forgot. I have like so many things to do that I keep forgetting. You know, like do you write things down in something? Because I kind of do and I don't.
I try and create reminders. You
Okay,
know,
so
on my phone.
Yeah, I do that, and then sometimes I forget to do the reminder, which is key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I forget, so then no reminder.
Right.
So yeah, I've got something to do this weekend. I don't remember what it is. Oh, we got a thumbs down on our YouTube, our live stream. Someone gave it a thumbs down.
Oh.
That means we're doing something right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We touched a nerve. Somebody was like, "Oh man, my vinyl toy's gonna rot out and gas out. I don't like you guys. No." Wait, I'm an otaku. I'm white and I'm an otaku.
Yep.
I am.
And I'm a proud weeb. You know.
Yeah, but that's where I want to be an otaku, and you're saying I can't.
Yep.
Dislike. Boom.
Dislike.
Yeah.
Or
how's
fucking
that
like Japanese American are different from Japanese.
We're the same. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Fuck
Dislike.
you. Dislike.
Dislike.
Luke Chu
Boom.
says fuck way too much. Dislike. It's true.
Wait. I'm from mainland China,
Yep.
and I buy Supreme stuff. Dislike. Boom.
Look, everything we say here is just my personal opinion, and my personal opinion
Is fact.
doesn't, you know.
Dislike. Boom.
You don't have to disagree with me, and I don't have to agree with you. But
But
thing
if you
is,
disagree, fuck you, right?
no.
No. Oh, okay. I thought you were going there.
Look.
I love you
Look,
guys, too.
I know. I love everyone who listens to the show, whether they like what we have to say or not. And if you want to, argue with me or state your opinion, I would love to hear it, because I think that it's important that
You want discourse, my man.
absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but go for it. If you want it, go for it.
I do. I love hearing other people's opinions and other people's rationale.
I see.
It's important to me because
That's how you learn.
Yeah, well, I sit.
You could also be wrong.
I sit in an empty apartment, sit by myself in my apartment, like basically 6 days out of a week, and just kind of mull over the things that I think about. Maybe occasionally going out and fucking seeing the rest of the world.
Right.
I need interact. I'm hungry for other people's opinions to kind of help me rationalize my own, maybe.
Ah.
Well,
Well, that's what we got a dislike for. There's someone out there who's just like, I don't like you guys. Dislike. Boom.
Nice. Respect.
Yeah, respect. Yeah.
Respect.
I respect your dislike.
Yes, absolutely. And so,
Oh, my
anyways,
God.
that's all for tonight.
Yep, it is.
All right. Peace.
All right. Thank you.